Today's episode and all episodes are brought to you by the Gathering of Fools, Ambassadors of Bourbon. Bean and Gary, thank you for helping us get all of the best bourbons right here in the studio. We are also brought to you by Valley Wine Cellar. They are still getting new shipments in all the time of wine and beer, and you can get them to go. So they are not closed. You can still get to go beer and wine at Valley Wine Cellar. We are also brought to you by Empowered Yoga. Empowered Yoga is an online yoga community and online classes brought to you by Amanda Gill. And you can check them out more at empowered.yoga. That's their Instagram. And you can check out the videos at vimeo.com/empowered yoga online. And today's episode, we have Justin Blanton, also known as Blantonian, one of my good friends. And I loved this episode. We just came in and had some fun. Actually, when he first got to my house, I said, so what are we talking about? And he goes, I don't know. What do you want to talk about? So neither of us had anything to talk about, and we just ended up rambling on for 2 hours of fun. So without further ado, here's Justin. Blantonian.
You need one of those sirens for real. Half beat.
But it's so fun doing it with the noise with your mouth.
You're right. Let's do it again. 3, 2. You sound more like a trombone.
Yeah.
Or an oboe.
Maybe we'll start an orchestra.
Is
that what those sound like?
I don't know. Yeah.
For sure, huh?
It's got to be.
It's called an oboe. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like a big straight clarinet saxophone thing.
Well, in case you couldn't tell, on today's episode, we got Justin Blanton, Blantonian, back in the studio.
Hello again, everyone. Friends and everyone else.
Don't tell him, but I only had him on because it's hard to get people right now during this coronavirus.
That's not true. I'm basically a celebrity. This is my third appearance. The people need to hear my voice. I've seen them demanding it on Twitter.
on the Twitter sphere?
Yeah.
What's O.J. Simpson say? Hello, Twitter world.
Hello, Twitter world. He weighed in on Tiger King and said Carol Baskin definitely killed her husband. And I was like, well, an expert has weighed in finally.
Right. If anybody would know.
He's like, I know that she did that. Hello, Twitter world.
Hello, Twitter world. It's so funny how he does that. Hello, Twitter world. I could listen to him just say hello, Twitter world all day.
I know. You know exactly how he's saying it, even though he's typing it out and you're reading it on the internet. Hello, Twitter world.
Well, I think he actually even did videos where he did that too and put them on Twitter.
Yeah, he did. It was like right when he got out of jail. And they were like, they still somehow can't touch a lot of the money he has.
I think it's because he's in Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
They got some weird laws or something. Yeah, so he lives in Florida and just keeps his money. He doesn't have to pay any of that civil suit.
And there's no fucking like taxes there either.
Right.
Like a lot of famous people used to have homes there just because there was no taxes on it.
Yeah, all the old people moved there for the climate and but I think the tax breaks would probably have something to do with it too. Well, and honestly, they just deemed the WWE an essential business, so they always got it all figured out.
Of course they did.
They're like, yeah, you guys are good. Keep holding the WrestleMania. I tuned in.
Honestly, I wish I would have though, because there's been nothing else on TV.
Yeah, I didn't really tune in, but
but I wish I would have.
I would have.
I figured you didn't, but if I still had, I used to have the WWE Network thing.
I remember.
And I would just watch the old pay-per-views, and then I think we watched WrestleMania one year.
We did watch, or the Royal Rumble, or maybe both.
But when I lost my job, I got rid of all the extra bills.
Yeah. That one wouldn't really fit a good budget.
Right.
Well, I gotta keep my WWE package.
Yeah, one that I never watch.
Yeah.
Like every once in a while when I'm hungover, I watch like WrestleMania 4.
Yeah, you're like, I want to watch Bret Hart get super kicked.
Right. I want to see Macho Man versus Hulk Hogan.
Crazy. It's funny we got onto this wrestling kick because I have been watching this show on Vice or Viceland, whatever they call the channel, called Dark Side of the Ring, and it is fucking great.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like different subject each episode, and it's like a docu-series basically, and like Jim Cornette's on it and like all kinds of like old wrestlers.
I want to watch that for sure.
Yeah, it's really good. It's on the second season. I recorded the first season but didn't watch a whole lot of it. But then the second season, first 2 episodes were all about Chris Benoit. And I was like, well, I got to watch that because that was like the craziest thing ever.
Dude, I remember when that happened. I was a big wrestling fan at the time, and I was like, what in the fuck are we talking about right now?
I didn't realize it was like, he still has a son that's alive.
That's fucking crazy.
Who wasn't.
I didn't realize. I thought everybody died.
No, he still has a son that was older than the kid he murdered.
Yeah.
Is still alive, and he's like, had a rough time, but he's like just started like they talked about like his like him going through it, and his like I think it was his aunt or someone else that was related to Chris that was like closer with him, and they hadn't talked in a while, but they like had got back together again. And then he was like great friends with Eddie Guerrero.
Oh yeah, they were best friends.
And then Eddie Guerrero died, and that like played into it, and they talked to Chavo Guerrero was on it.
Yeah, well,
he
real
was,
quick,
like, talking about everything.
For those who don't know, Chris Benoit was considered one of the best in-ring wrestlers. He wasn't considered a great microphone talent, but in-ring wrestlers, he was considered one of the best.
That's one of the things they talk about, like how WWE. Great he was in the ring.
Yeah, and he lost his shit one day and killed all his family that lived with him and himself.
Yeah,
and they think a lot of it probably had to do with like CT and concussions,
CTE, steroid, other drug use, all kinds of stuff.
Well, because his finishing move was a headbutt off the top rope.
Yeah, they talk about that a lot. Flying headbutt, just diving onto your face.
Yeah,
or your top shoulder area, wherever they.
Right, even when you're trying to fake that, I mean, I'm sure there's lots of times where you just smack your head off of somebody.
They talked about like chair shots a lot too. Like they don't do those anymore. They don't do the chair shots anymore. But it used to be like a badge of honor to like take the hardest shots, and they just get cracked across the forehead.
They like fake
with
them
a steel chair.
They like fake them now or do them to the back, don't they?
Yeah, they like hit them on the back or like jab them in the belly.
Right.
I don't know. I can't really say I've watched much, but watching the show is really great.
Yeah, I really want to see it. So what channel is it on?
It's on Vice.
The channel Vice?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have that. Son of a bitch.
I don't know if you can get it anywhere else. You might be able to get it on like Hulu or something.
It's called Dark Side of the Mat?
Dark Side of the Ring. Dark Side of the Mat was another documentary that came out like a long time ago. Beyond the Mat. Yeah.
That was a good one too, though.
Uh-huh.
It's the first time you realized that Jake the Snake Roberts was fucked up.
Yeah. And then what else did they talk about? Oh, the first episode, the Chris Benoit one was just crazy. It was 2 episodes long. They talked about like some like grim details of the murder. Like he killed his wife was dead for like a whole day.
No shit.
Yeah, and just like him and his son were there for like a whole day, and then he did the rest. I don't know how to describe it without sounding completely
it's dark.
Morbid. It's very
dark as fuck,
but very interesting, and I don't know, just crazy. Chris Jericho was on that episode a lot. He was talking a lot about it because he was like coming up at the same time as him and Eddie. And they wrestled it like together in New Japan.
And a bunch of those guys, so they were all part of a group that came over to WWE when they bought out WCW. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And at first they were all part of like a faction that was, because I was a huge fan during the time, and they were a faction that was like, we're coming in here to take over the WWE.
That was like,
Perry Saturn was part of it.
Huge time. Dean Malenko was in that episode. Yep. Oh, I hated him for some reason when he was a wrestler. He was like my least favorite.
They called him like the man of 1,000 holds or something, but he wasn't fun to watch.
No, he was boring as shit.
Yeah, he had. Like,
I knew that when I was 8 years old. I was like, this dude sucks.
He had good like actual wrestling, but nobody wants to see a bunch of actual wrestling.
I'd watch like match. NCAA wrestling if I want to. Like, this guy will hold him down. Watch.
Right. Watch how good he holds him there.
Yeah. Oh, that was a great time. And then like this season, there's only been 3 episodes so far, and the latest one was crazy. It was about Jimmy Superfly Snuka or whatever.
He was actually like a bad person, right?
Yeah, well, he basically got away with murder.
That's what I thought. I thought it was something like that.
Yeah, and it's like, it's kind of like an O.J. Simpson situation. It's like, well, you probably did it. Like he was like, well, he definitely did it because he admitted to like, I don't know. It's crazy. He like shoved the girl. He had a girlfriend, but a wife. But he had like an on-road girlfriend, and it was that girl.
Oh, okay. So here it says, Snuka was indicted and arrested in September 2015 on third-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter charges. Manslaughter.
I like when you read.
Manslaughter charges in relation to the May 1983 death of his girlfriend, Nancy Argentino. Snuka pleaded not guilty, but was ultimately found unfit to stand trial in June 2016 due to being diagnosed with dementia. Also, you know what his It's so crazy. You know what his finishing move was?
He was diving off the top rope too. He did
with
like
a
a
headbutt
crazy,
as well,
like frog splash headbutt.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
But then the charges were dismissed in 2017, and then he died 12 days later at the age of 73.
Yeah.
But he definitely, like, I don't know, he basically admitted to, he was like, yeah, I pushed her, we had an argument, I pushed her, and then she went to bed, and I went to go wrestle. And then when he came back, she was unresponsive.
That's crazy.
So I don't know. But yeah, that's crazy. 1983, and they just got him in 2015. And then he got off for having dementia in 2016. That's some crazy stuff.
That's wild. So who else do they talk about on there? You remember any other ones?
The second episode was about the...
here's this flag headbutt.
He was super young there, too. Look how long his hair was.
Yeah, Jacob pulled up on YouTube the finishing move.
Just diving head first.
Just diving head first. Like, if you miss that at all, you're smacking the shit out of your head.
So the top rope's it's about 5 feet in the air, I'd say, and then you're diving 10 feet across the ring head first.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Yeah. The second episode was it was about this dude. It was like right in the Attitude Era, like right when it started, and they brought this dude in to be a producer that used to work on Jerry Springer, and they had this thing called the Brawl for All.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember that, but
I don't remember that.
They let him fight for real. It was like a boxing tournament.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Bradshaw won, didn't he?
Bart Gunn won.
Oh, Bart Gunn.
But Bradshaw was in it.
Yeah, Bart Gunn.
And The Godfather, you remember that dude? He was in it. It was like the lower guys. Like it wasn't anyone. Like Bart Gunn might have been the famous one, but there was another dude.
Well, The Godfather had 2 times of fame because he was also Papa Shango.
Oh,
back in the day.
Yeah, I forget. He might have been Papa Shango when this took place. I don't know when the change was, but he was like.
Here's the whole list. Steve Blackman, who was kind of an actual mixed martial artist.
Yeah.
Mark Merrow, Mark Canterbury. I have no idea who that is. Then Bradshaw, Brockus. I kind of remember him. Savio Vega. I remember. Darren Draws. One time, so that Draws dude, at one point in his life, his whole gimmick was throwing up. They were calling him Pukey.
Yeah, I remember that, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening here? I was not a big fan of that.
Road Warrior Hawk, that's kind of cool. Bart Gunn, Bobby Holly, Quebecer Pierre.
Oh,
okay.
Back to Bart Gunn and Bobby Holly. They were a tag team at the time, and they like said the draw was random, but there was like a big thing. Like, I know you fixed this and made us fight each other like in the first round.
Yeah.
And then like that like wrecked their tag team career pretty much. They talk about that.
Did The Godfather, Dan Severn, who was actually really MMA fighter.
Yeah. But he lost in the first round of The Godfather, if you look at the bracket here.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And then 8 Ball. Okay.
And Scorpio.
Don't
remember those guys.
I remember Scorpio. I don't remember 8 Ball.
No. I don't know if for some reason I'm not seeing him on there, but another, maybe it's just listed by his regular name, but another guy they talked about being in it was Dr. Death. And he was like getting ready to have a big push, like they wanted him to win. But Bart Gunn beat him, and then like he was out of wrestling like a year later. It like ruined his career.
That must be Steve Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah, try to see if that Steve Williams is Dr.
I wonder why they wouldn't list Dr. Death though. That's weird.
Yeah, it's like, why not use his wrestling name?
Yeah, they used everybody else's.
Yeah.
Mark Merrow, I remember him. Didn't he have that wife that was always with him?
Well, yeah, it was Sable.
Yeah, Sable, but she's married to Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
In real life.
Yeah. But dude, he had the craziest finisher. He did like a double flip off the top rope and landed on you.
Yeah. He was high flyer.
Yeah, Dr. Death, Steve Williams.
Dr. Death, Steve Williams. There he is. But yeah, Jim Cornette like hates this dude that they brought in from Springer who like set this up. He was like, "You're ruining wrestling!" Like he was screaming on the episode. He's on like every episode, Jim Cornette. But he was like screaming at this dude, like, "I hate you, motherfucker!" Like, you wrecked wrestling. It's not. But yeah, it was just a boxing tournament, but it was kind of MMA too because they would like be tackling each other.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Jim Cornette was real mad about Dr. Death getting like he was out of wrestling a year later because Bart Gunn beat him and like just wrecked him, just ruined his whole shtick.
Yeah, that's crazy, and it says on there that he was the favorite to win.
Yeah, they really were going for him to get a push. It's crazy that like Dan Severn and that other actual fighter were in it and like didn't get past the first round.
Yeah, when it's crazy too that Ken Shamrock wasn't in that one. He declined the opportunity to take part while Severn defeated the Godfather in the first round, but then withdrew from the tournament. So he actually beat the Godfather.
That's what it was. Yeah, they do talk about that. I forget. He might have broke his hand or something, or didn't want like. Maybe he didn't want to win because he was like already a professional. They do mention it in the episode. I can't remember the particular story, but it's a great show if you're into, it's all about old wrestling and like the behind the scenes stuff, and it's pretty cool. And they have a lot of big names come through, like the one about Snuka. They had like the girl's sister and like Snuka's actual wife, and
That's crazy.
A couple other, I forget the guy he was like going back and forth with at the time, but he was on it. It was like this kind of chubby blonde dude, but it wasn't like Dusty Rhodes or him. But I forget who it was, but it was not a huge name, but a big name at the time. Back in 1983.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they had some weird, like that dude that puked on himself. They had some weird people in wrestling.
Oh man,
like the people that aren't like the big names.
Yeah, there were definitely a lot of weird guys. I mean, it's such a weird career to have. Like you're always on the road. Like,
always on the road.
That has to be a rough life.
Yeah. You get a time off when like you get an injury. Like other than that, you're always on the road. It's crazy. It's like what do? You just bring your family with you, or you?
Yeah, it's like what? Almost like 300 days out of the year. I think.
Yeah, it's something crazy.
Yeah,
it's really crazy, and they're all like. I mean, they're all probably roided up, but they say they drug test. But they're all like crazy athletes. They're all huge and like just muscle bound and like can do all that high flying stuff. And
it's kind of crazy now. There's a lot of like smaller guys. I mean, there's still a lot of them are still real muscular, but they're not as like they used to be like giants. They were all like 6'5" and up.
Yeah,
you know
like
what
that.
I mean?
Yeah, but you're right. They're not like that anymore. That was the look of the time. That you had to be that big to like make it, and that was one of the things they talked about. Like Eddie and Chris Benoit, like they weren't big dudes like that, but they still like came up in that era and made a name for themselves.
They were definitely juiced to the gills, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. Eddie Guerrero, his death was like all drugs and steroids.
Yeah, his heart basically exploded.
Yeah, he was on all kinds of stuff.
It was sad though because he was
like the greatest dude though.
Yeah, and he was so fun to watch. Yeah, like all of his gimmicks were amazing once he got to the WWE.
Yeah,
it's like lie, cheat, steal.
Right, even before, and I liked him in WCW. I liked like Rey Mysterio more, Rey Mysterio Jr., but Eddie Guerrero was always fun to watch.
Well, in WCW, like they never like let Eddie Guerrero like have mic time.
Right, yeah.
And then when he got to WWE, he ended up being great on the mic, and you have to think like, why did they never let him on the mic in WCW?
Right, yeah, maybe because he was Mexican.
Yeah, well, and he
Racists.
didn't, probably because he didn't fit the mold.
Yeah,
he wasn't a big giant guy. He was just like supposed to be there doing kind of filler matches.
But they both made their names in like New Japan, which is, I don't know, that's always so crazy to me, like how much the Japanese love like wrestling and combat sports and like
love wrestling
and like the way they watch it too. Like they're all so quiet.
Yeah, I think they get paid really well in Japan too.
They probably do. They probably do, especially if you like reach like top tier status, like kind of like Yokozuna and like the actual Yokozuna in sumo wrestling.
Yeah,
not the wrestler by the name of Yokozuna, not to be confused with the actual wrestler. I loved him too when I was little. It's like
Yokozuna.
The thought of that giant man just like.
I remember when they were trying to push Lex Luger, and they had Lex Luger wearing like the Star Spangled shorts or whatever.
Yeah, he had kind of
went
like
up against him.
Yeah, Yokozuna. Yeah, I remember that. He had kind of like a patriotic name too at the time. I think he was like when he had like his move, the torture rack. I think it was called like the Freedom Rack when he was like being all patriotic.
What did that say up there? Go up a little bit. It said the young lions get paid food, wrestling classes, and a roof over their heads. That is how traditional Japanese dojo works. Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
Yeah, that's a weird way to put it. That was they were trying to be like kind of philosophical, but kind of like okay,
right? Oh man,
could still be the case.
Yeah,
I don't know, but that's a great show. It's worth a watch.
Yeah, I definitely want to check that out.
It's a good one. Behind the scenes, all kinds of stuff.
Something I'm really excited for is that I forget what it's going to be called, but that Bulls thing that's coming on ESPN.
Yeah, the Bulls documentary, a 10-part documentary.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like uncensored too, like they're probably cussing and screaming at each other and everything. The Last Dance, yep.
That's The Last Dance. I can't wait to see that. I think I think it's really going to make people remember. Even Stephon Marbury said it's going to make people remember that Jordan's the best.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And I can't wait to watch it just because it's been so long since, watching him play was like so long ago. Like watching him, and I was still a little younger, even like through his like, I definitely watched the closest, the second three-peat.
Yeah,
was when I like watched the closest. But before that, I was just like, yeah, Michael Jordan's the best. He's my favorite, and he's in Space Jam. and like the end of Space Jam is when like the comeback was announced, basically.
Right. I hate Space Jam though.
You do?
I hate it.
Well, I hate you now. So this episode is over. Like I'm just gonna be real standoffish the rest of the week.
I really hate how it ended. It was so dumb to me.
He dunked from the other foul line.
Yeah, he suddenly became Mr. Fantastic, and his arm just stretched super long.
What could be more fantastic of an ending than him turning into Mr. Fantastic and dunking the ball with the whole Monstars hanging from his body?
Just because the guy he was emulating is named Mr. Fantastic does not make it fantastic.
Yes.
Those are just words.
No, you saw what happened.
I hated it. I was young when I saw it, and I was like, oh, great, they just ruined it.
Well, you were an asshole when you were little, too.
So I've always
Space Jam is great, and you're wrong. I'm kind of mad they're remaking it with LeBron, though. I will say that.
I'll give it a chance because I'm thinking, hey, man, it can't be worse.
Right.
Yeah. You agreed with me.
No, I didn't
you heard
mean to. No, it can't be worse because it's not Michael Jordan. Oh man, I don't think Bugs Bunny held onto his skills over 40 years. When did that movie come out? How are they still good at basketball?
Yeah, I mean Bugs Bunny should be pretty old by now.
Yeah, he was old at the time, I think.
I went so cast. It says LeBron James, Don Cheadle. So did they get any other? Basketball players: Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis, Damian Lillard, Chris Paul, Kyle Kuzma. I heard he was actually having a hard time getting players to sign up for this.
I know Kawhi said no, but that just fits his personality. Why would he do it? He's not. He went to LA, but he's like, I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah, I guarantee, because he's just not that type of guy.
No, yeah.
He's not even really good at interviews. His interviews are hilarious.
I love it. It's so funny. He's like, I don't know, I'm just a fun guy. I could watch that over on a loop, just like, I'm a fun guy.
Even better than just watching it on its own on a loop is when they show the video of Kevin Hart
Yes.
watching it for the first time.
I knew exactly what you meant.
It's so funny because Kevin Hart loses his mind.
Oh my! Yeah, he's cracking up. It's just so funny, so funny. But yeah, Space Jam is great, and Dave's dumb. That's basically the moral of the story here.
Moral of the story
Bill
is
Murray was in it.
Yeah, I love Bill Murray. Mm-hmm. I didn't mind the movie till that happened, and then I was like, well, I'm never watching this piece of shit again.
I didn't mind you till this came to light. So,
so friendship over.
Yeah, if you couldn't tell already.
What was I gonna say? You said something about. I brought up Kevin Hart stand-up comedy. You said you watched the Bert Kreischer one.
Yeah, I watched. Well, I don't think I finished it. I watched Bert Kreischer's and Tom Segura's new one, but I don't think I quite finished. Kreischer's.
I was unfortunately a little let down by Bert's. I don't think I finished it either.
Yeah, I think he used to be a little better. I think he's just kind of. I don't know. It's like the same stuff over and over again with him. I just want him to tell the machine story, basically.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of.
That is maybe kind of the unfortunate thing for him, is that machine story might be the best thing ever in stand-up comedy.
It made him, and then it's like, what do you do? Like, what do I do now?
How do you top that?
You can't. And he didn't in this stand-up, I'll tell you that.
Like
he had some funny parts.
Right. There were still some funny parts. He's still a funny guy overall, but it was a little bit of a letdown. Tom Segura's I started, and I ended up falling asleep, but that was just because I was tired. It was by no fault, but it looked hilarious.
That one's really funny. That one's really good.
Yeah.
Except he has like a lot of lipstick on. Like you can see it on stage. Like they put too much makeup on his face. Yeah, he's wearing a lot of lipstick.
A lot.
Like you're like, yes, he has lipstick on. And you're like, it's the stand-up special view, so you're like back in the crowd, like not super close, and you're like, that dude's got lipstick on. Which I know people on stage put makeup on.
Right. Yeah.
It was obvious he was wearing lipstick.
It seems weird to be on stage and put makeup on. I don't feel like you have to do that.
I know, but they even did it like in the plays in high school that even like the guys had makeup on. And
really?
Stuff. Yeah.
I just I feel like it's unnecessary.
You gotta pop out of them lights to drown your skin.
Look at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, shit. That's hilarious. Yeah. Holy makeup. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of posts about it.
Yeah, it's a thing. Everyone was like, why's he got all that lipstick on? But great stand-up.
Yeah.
Great stand-up special, for sure.
I'm telling you, you got to watch Chris D'Elia's.
I know, I do.
It's the best one I've seen in a while.
I can't wait to watch that one, actually. He was on Joe Rogan this week, too, and I was watching that. I haven't got all the way through it, but he's got to tell the story about how he had to shit on his way to meet Eminem. And he about shitted his pants.
It's crazy how he got to meet Eminem and everything like that, all from a video making fun of Eminem.
Yeah. Like Eminem called him out on Twitter. I was like, I'm about to battle Chris D'Elia. And he was like, am I in the rap game now? What?
Jacob, did you ever see that video of him making fun of Eminem?
No.
Yeah, pull that up.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, turn.
Just like trying to rap like him.
Yeah, he's like, this is how Eminem raps.
Yeah.
Turn up the TV pretty loud too.
Let's
see if we can get a little bit on here. I got there you go.
Do you want me to stick my mic in that same pool as you?
Head over
really far away now.
Yeah, we're really far from the mics.
Can you hear us? Here's an ad for Michelob Ultra.
Of course I'm on tour. I'm driving a Porsche over the floorboards, over the 4 points, wearing a 4 Taurus, getting an abortion and a divorce at the same time. The years affording. Look what I'm planning. I'm planning to do all this while you're panicking, and you're looking and staring at mannequins, and I'm going on fannikins, trying to get up a Blantikins. All of the Blantikins, Panikins. All the Blantikins, Anakin, in the cabana. I'm in a cabana in a Janet. I'm in a cabana chanting on the stand-up banner. Well, you don't got the stamina, you're lacking the stamina. You're lacking the stamina while you're divorcing Harrison Ford, and I'm in a Porsche and I'm flowing porn. While I'm on torrent. You're using way too many napkins. Papkins. Lapkins and chapkins. You're using chapstick and napkins while I'm papkin. Flapping around like a papkin. Flamming a babbity pan and chapkin. Damn it again, a benefit.
So, all in all, he does a pretty good job.
It does sound a lot like Eminem.
Yeah.
Except, Eminem's saying real words the whole time.
Right. He said some weird real words like chapstick and flapjack.
Yeah. But somehow Eminem ended up saying that and made a post saying that he was going to battle him. And then they ended up using that clip in the song with Logic and Eminem.
Logic was the one that reached out to him.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, yeah. I want you to be Eminem in the end of this video.
Yeah, that's what he said, that his manager had reached out to Chris D'Elia, and his manager was like, so they want to use that video, and he was like, or that audio, and he was like, yeah, dude, fuck it, let him use it,
Right.
Of course. And he was like, all right, let me call him and like kind of see what's going on. He's like, no, dude, don't charge him for it.
Let them use it.
Let them use it. It's cool as fuck.
It's Eminem and Logic.
He's like, are you out of your mind? Just give it to him.
And it's me. Like, who the fuck am I?
it's some random video he made for like his social media.
Just because.
Gonna charge him for it.
Yeah. It's just out there on his Instagram and YouTube. You can just watch it anytime.
Right. Which if we were on YouTube, we'd probably get pulled just for playing that.
Yeah, we would.
Actually, I am on YouTube. Don't tell anybody. It's just not video.
If this gets back to Chris D'Elia, then you're making some noise, so you might as well. You might as well get caught for it.
Shout out, Chris. I know you're listening.
Yeah. Holla at us.
Holla at you, boy.
We love you.
All right. We did get a little sidetracked though. I'm super excited to see that Bulls documentary. I can't wait. One, there's no sports right now, so cool to see. And
right.
I just can't wait to see clips of Jordan playing again.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. And like hear him, just like I feel like it wasn't as closely monitored as like today's sports, like where you know everything, like the athletes say, and
right.
they're like, oh, we heard there was a beef in the locker room between him and him. Like that didn't really come out back in the day unless there was like newspaper reporting on it or something, like because the first three-peat was what 91 season,
yeah, something like that,
or 92. So. Like
I feel
things like that didn't really come out.
I feel like he was a great teamate, but a harsh teammate because of his own work ethic. You know what I mean?
For sure. Well, people talk about how mean he was. Like Muggsy Bogues, remember he said he like ended his career talking trash to him.
Yeah.
He was like, "You too short. You ain't shit. You ain't me." Like he was like, "I would like to announce my retirement."
I saw some, I think it was on YouTube, but I'm sure it was from some sort of documentary at some point in time, but it was definitely older, and they were talking to players who like would be guarding Michael Jordan at some point, and they said he'd be having like a little bit of an off game, and they'd be the one guarding him, and one of their other teammates would be like, so-and-so's got you locked down, you can't do nothing, like say Reggie Miller, like Reggie's got you locked down, and he's like, dude, don't talk crazy to him. Because he said every time, then he was like, oh yeah?
Yeah.
And then just started lighting him up.
Lose his shit.
Like, dude, you shut up and leave that man alone.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's like talking shit to, like, waking the devil inside of somebody. Like, oh, really? Did you forget who I was? I will score 60.
Yeah. No, really, you forgot the Bulls became irrelevant when I left the team, and then I came back, and we're winning championships
and we won
again.
3 championships again.
Oh,
they did bring in Rodman.
For what?
Rodman.
He wasn't there for the first championship,
the second three-peat.
And still, compared to what teams get today, Like the Warriors?
Right.
Like, you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
You know? Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson all on the same team. And Draymond Green's not like a superstar, but, I mean, he's a nice player to have after those.
Michael Jordan's Bulls wouldn't have blown a 3-1 lead in the finals. I know that.
Hell no.
There ain't no way. They wouldn't even lost another game.
And honestly, God, I say it all the time because the game's a little bit softer now. Like, you know, I think Jordan might have scored 70 a night in this current league.
For sure.
He used to get brutalized.
Oh yeah, there was like way more fist fights in basketball in the early 90s. It was like a thing. It was like hockey fights. They just happened regularly.
Right. Well, and I just remembered like after Jordan's era, really, Ron Artest got in that fight, and it was like everybody was like thought it was so crazy. But then you go back and watch like the times of during like the Bad Boys in Detroit, and it's like, oh, dude. People had fistfights all the time.
Right. To be fair, Ron Artest was beating up fans.
That is true. And then changed his name to Meta World Peace.
Yeah. Well, he's a changed man.
He's a changed man. Now, I will say, I would get pretty mad too. I probably wouldn't have went up in the stands, but I probably would have screamed at him. But because he was laying on that table, waiting for the fight to be broke up, and a fan tossed a beer, and it actually hit him like right in his face.
It soaked him, and then he just and Steven Jackson both took off and started beating people up.
They said back in the locker room, Jermaine O'Neal was like yelling at Ron Artest, like because they walked in. Ron Artest goes, "You guys think we're gonna get in trouble?" Yeah.
Do you think we're gonna get in
Steven
trouble?
Jackson was like, "Motherfucker, we'll be lucky if we could ever play in the NBA again."
Right? He just assaulted fans. Okay, they were willing to fight. Apparently, I remember the one guy just like kind of stared at him, and then he just like punched him right in the face. I'm like, Jesus Christ! I don't know. He might have said something, but did you have to just your big ass had to fucking crack that poor chubby white man?
Yeah. And Steven Jackson was like, you know, I didn't want to go in the stands, but I couldn't let my boy go in the stands by himself.
Like, maybe you could have.
You probably could have.
At this point, you might have just let him go. Be like, oh, that dude's crazy. Look at him go.
Look at him go.
Should we stop him? I'm just going to stay right here, actually. Like Jermaine O'Neal. Just like chill. Yeah. Like, I'm just going to chill. I think he might have got suspended for that, too. He might have played a role in the initial part of it.
Yeah.
But most people stopped fighting.
Yeah, not Ron.
No.
Ron Artest stopped fighting with the team. He went and laid on the table.
Right.
And then got hit with a cup and then was like, I'll fight everybody in the building.
Yeah. Who else won it?
Who
won it with Meta World Peace? Oh my god!
I want to see that documentary. It's actually on Amazon, I think. But it's all about Ron Artest. I need to watch that.
Yeah, I feel like he's probably a pretty interesting person for what he's gone through. He did come back and win championships with the Lakers too when he came back. Because Kobe's last championship, I think.
Because he was great at defense.
Oh yeah, he was a good player.
Yeah.
Actually, just a crazy person.
Did you ever watch that Rodman? I think it was 30 for 30.
Yeah. That
was really good.
That one was really good. He's a very, very interesting character as well. Like it's the craziest person. But yeah, there were some sad parts like
like alcohol just took him over, man. Yeah. Like I drink a good bit, but alcohol took him over.
For sure. He was doing crazy. He was like dating Madonna and like married Carmen Electra for 9 days.
Right.
Doesn't talk to his family anymore.
Why wearing dresses?
Yeah, wearing dresses. He wrote that book. And now he's friends with Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
Which one's in there now?
Kim Jong-un, I think. Yeah.
Eel was his dad.
Crazy.
Yeah, who's just like no one's even allowed in North Korea, but they're like, oh, Dennis Rodman, U.S. ambassador to North Korea.
You come right over.
Oh, they're like bros, just like chilling. Like, look at this missile about to shoot, man. He's like, oh, bro, that's crazy. You got Hennessy? I heard your dad liked Hennessy.
That's hilarious.
Which is true. There was he would order like Kim Jong Il when he was still alive. He would be like. There was like crates of Hennessy shipped to him like by like the $60,000 amounts.
Man, I don't
loved Hennessy, and
I don't get the love for cognac at all.
No.
Any of it. I've tried it a few times. I could get down with some brandy, but I can't do cognac.
Yeah,
and there's no cheap cognac.
No.
There's no like bottom shelf cognac. Like the cheapest cognac is like
Hennessy.
Yeah, and it's like $30 for a fifth.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy to me.
And then everything else is like there's like is King Louis a cognac? It's like $1,300 a bottle or something.
Yeah, I
crazy.
think so. Yeah, and they got Remy Martin like $17.30 or something like that.
What is so special about it?
I don't know. It doesn't taste good to me. Like I drink liquor on the rocks. Like I drink it straight, and I can't get down with the cognac.
Oh, yeah.
But you throw some E&J my way.
Stop it. Stop it. Dave's just showing a different side of himself.
little irk and jerk, little easy Jesus.
We're gonna flash back in time to when Dave used to talk a little different. He used to dress a little different and sip on some E&J.
It's a different world.
It was.
I'll tell you what, that Douce though, that's Jay-Z's cognac.
Douce.
Yeah, I don't want to drink it, but the bottle is so cool that I want one.
I mean, that Remy Martin King Louis one is fucking pretty cool too. It's like ornate. It's like in a decanter already. Like the bottle's already like a big crystal decanter.
Right. Then you got to think with stuff like that, like how much money is actually in the bottle alone. Right. You know what I mean?
Like that Crystal Head vodka.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not even very good. No. Sorry, Dan Aykroyd.
I know. I love you, Dan Aykroyd. Did you see his episode on Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
Dude, he's amazing.
Dude, it's such a good episode, but man, he's into all the alien and ghost conspiracies.
He believes it all. He's like, yeah, that's true. Like, even like the ones that are people like, no, that one's not true. He's like, oh, no, that is true.
Yeah, you have to do the research.
And he's saying he's had experiences like more than once in his life. He said he was like, something was like hovering above him. He's like, I know it wasn't a helicopter. I know what those sound like. And like it wasn't making any noise and something was just like right above him.
No, I will give him credit for saying he would know if it's a helicopter because it's a pretty distinct sound.
Yeah, and he had like some family history and like some sort of flying. Like they did some sort of aviation and he like, I've been around these a lot. I know what they sound like.
Yeah.
This thing was not it.
Yeah. So, but you know. But
even when they're hovering, they don't make a lot of noise, but they do have like those like rear rotors that are like keeping them up, like keeping them in place.
You still hear it.
That's what makes like all the noise. He's like, I know what those sound like.
Yeah, but it was a really great episode on Joe Rogan.
It was. Yeah. He talked about his vodka sounds like it should be like the best because they like distill it over diamonds and like crazy stuff.
Yeah, like and I don't know how that affects the flavor, but that was definitely a huge selling point for him on there, right. And it says it right on the box too.
Yeah,
and that's weird. It seems like there's better use for those diamonds.
Yeah, yeah. Good point. What are they doing with the diamonds?
Yeah, like how did you get a hold of all these diamonds just to like distill your vodka?
Who are you, Dan Aykroyd? The aliens brought it to him,
right?
But there's like something about that. Like it's all related. He tells like the crazy story of like because he calls it Crystal Skull for one reason. It's not just because of the cool bottle. It's like some other crazy conspiracy about aliens or like extraterrestrial involvement, something like that.
Yeah,
I don't remember the particulars of it, but it's also something, and like it has something to do with the diamond distilling process, and it's like. Some aliens bestowed this on like the Mayan culture, and that's why they distill it this way. And
well, and you know that's definitely true because Crystal Skull. They even did a Indiana Jones thing about that ended up being one of the last movie, and it ended up being about aliens.
Wasn't Shia LaBeouf in it?
It was. I thought they were going to make Shia LaBeouf the new Indiana Jones, but I think they are actually making a new one, and it's still.
I think they might have until then he kind of lost his mind a little bit.
He did.
He did a lot of crazy stuff.
It seems like he's back to normal.
He was on Sway's 5 Fingers of Death freestyling. Did you see that?
And he did good.
Like murdered it.
It was surprisingly
Everyone was
good.
like, first of all, what are you doing here? Second of all, you're dressed like you're homeless.
Right.
And third of all, you just spit like 17,000 hot bars.
Yeah, he went off. He really did. It was good. And it seems like he's back to normal now, too. He did you ever see his Hot Ones episode?
Part of it. I didn't watch all of it. But yeah,
really good.
He does seem normal now.
And he can really handle spicy shit.
I bet. I think he did a lot of other weird shit that prepared him for it because he had like a weird art installation for a while and he just like lived at it in like a weird trailer and didn't have a shower.
And he was doing those weird protests.
Yeah.
Yeah. He lost his mind.
But something. That's what happens when you get famous when you're young as hell.
But that bottle is cool as fuck for Crystal Head vodka.
It really is. It's probably the selling point.
Shia LaBeouf. I really don't understand what ended up happening with how he lost his mind.
Weren't you saying recently that you watched some good stuff that he was in though, or like we're going to watch some good stuff? That
I haven't seen.
He was going to be in.
I haven't seen the one. I thought he was going to make a big comeback with these 2 movies. One of them was Peanut Butter Falcon, which was incredible. It was really good. He was amazing in it. He's a really good actor.
He is. He definitely is a really good actor.
And then he had another one that's kind of loosely based on his life. I haven't watched it yet, but it is for free on Amazon. Just every time I go think I'm going to watch a movie, I end up binge watching some show.
Yeah, I got real bad at watching movies. Like nothing. Like I don't watch any movies anymore. It's really. I just watched Baby Driver for the first time. Tommy made me watch it.
You just watched that for the first time?
Yeah, it's amazing.
That is such a good movie.
I remember I was like, man, movies are good. Why not like, the last movie before that I watched was probably like Avengers Endgame. Like I just got real bad at watching movies. I didn't see Joker.
I haven't watched that one yet.
I didn't watch like a lot of big things. I didn't watch the newest Star Wars. Like a lot of big movies you think I probably would have saw. Yeah. I didn't watch. I don't know why.
Back to that Baby Driver for a minute though. First of all, Jacob, did you ever see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. The way they incorporated the music into it was just incredible.
That was my favorite part.
Yeah.
I love when movies do that. Like it kind of like threw me back to when like And like those parts in Wanted, that movie you really love.
Oh yeah.
For no one's sure why. I'm just kidding. It's amazing. And like when they he slaps him in the face with that keyboard and it like spells out "fuck you" with like the keys in his teeth.
Right. It's just like
a
cool
it's
thing.
like they work that like I don't know, that digital picture editing. Like they work that cool stuff in there. And it's just like they did that with the music and like songs would be like reflecting on the words that were on the screen. Like street signs and stuff.
Yeah, really cool. And the wow, where did you jump from there? What movie did you talk about?
Just now that I mentioned?
Yeah.
I mentioned Baby Driver.
Baby Driver.
Which is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And Wanted.
But you went somewhere else, and I was going to bring something up. I completely forget. It must not have been that important. God. I hate when that happens, though.
You're never going to make it in this podcast game.
Thanks,
I never forgot about this Space Jam shit.
You're still hurt about that?
Yeah. I'm going to keep hurting you now.
Oh, the Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Didn't watch it.
Well,
I want to watch it. Just didn't watch it yet.
Yeah, I watched it. And I'm glad I watched it, but let me tell you, it's a real piece of shit.
Not the best?
Not the best isn't the word.
That probably had something to do with it, honestly.
It's a real piece of shit movie.
But I remember when they first started rebooting the third series, like I went to the midnight showing of the Last Jedi. Like I was there. I was like all for it.
Yeah.
And then like the second one came out and saw that in theaters. And like
the first one of the new ones wasn't bad.
Yeah.
The second one was okay. But then this last one was a piece of shit.
Was it? I still need to see it to wrap it up.
Exactly. I'm glad I watched it because of the wrap up, and it had some cool things in it. But all in all, like when you watch it, you just at one point you're gonna, because it's what happened to me. You're gonna giggle to yourself and just say in your head like, "This is a real piece of shit movie."
I had like the second one, even like the middle one. There were a lot of parts I really liked about it. Most of it was nostalgic reasons, I think. But then like there were parts where when that like one woman just like out of nowhere they were like, oh yeah, and I'm this lady, and like no one recognized her before that. She was like, oh, you're like some sort of major general with the Republic.
Right.
And nobody knew. Like how that dude was a pilot for the Republic for how long?
This doesn't really give anything away in the storyline, so I'm just gonna tell you this part because it's the most fucking absurd thing I've ever seen. So they're in space, right? Yeah, we all know how space works, right?
I got a good understanding.
Like if you just if you were wearing, first of all, you wouldn't be able to breathe if you didn't have something on.
Yeah, that's one part, but there's no oxygen.
Yeah. Then the second part is like if you're on something, say you are wearing a spacesuit so you can breathe, and you're on something and you jump off of it, you're just gonna float off forever.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So at one point,
this is lesson 1 in space by Dave Hammer.
So at one point, they're on this spaceship. Like by on it, I don't mean inside of it.
Oh, like on top, like walking on it.
Like walking on it.
Is it flying in space?
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
My feelings are hurt again.
No. no oxygen mask.
No breathing apparatus.
No breathing apparatus. And then they jump off of it onto another spaceship, and they don't just like jump and like float. It's like a normal on Earth jump.
Like if you jumped like from a building to a building.
Yeah.
Huh. Well,
I was like, what in the fuck is going on here?
It seems they've taken some liberties with some understood scientific stuff.
Oh my God. I was just like, this is unbelievable.
Well, I do need to wrap the story up. And I was excited about, when they rebooted it. I liked those first two. They were good.
Yeah, they were entertaining. Great. Yeah. There's still none of them have compared to the original. No. The original 3 that came out in the 80s. Which is crazy because
most like old stuff is like just nostalgic and it kind of actually sucked.
Yeah.
But like compared to things that come out now, with like all the things they can do, you're like, well, this I like it because it's old.
Right.
But that's not the case with like the Star Wars franchise because those were the best ones.
Yeah. The storylines just still hold up. The storylines were just incredible.
Yep.
But yeah, it's
like making like a space like Western movie like, with all those vibes, and like that's what they try to do with like the Mandalorian, so they kind of brought it back. I really like that how they did that in that series. Like,
I enjoyed the Mandalorian.
It was way more like spaghetti Western but in space. Type.
I just hate how like they have all this production value in the Mandalorian.
I know. We actually talked about this on the other episode.
Yeah,
on that
right. But with like they have like these beasts that are great CGI things, and then they like the guy's costume is just a fucking joke.
Yeah, it's like that's made out of plastic.
It's clearly plastic.
We know that's plastic. And he's like the dude, like the main bad guy.
The main bad guy. And the like things that are supposed to be lights on there are clearly just painted.
Yeah.
Like not even well painted.
And it's crazy. Like even like
like
comparing one prop to the exact same prop, the Mandalorian's armor. They spent all that time on it
Right.
because of what it was made out of, and it was all like sweet and shiny. And then like there's this dude. They're like, well, I have this plastic vest that will protect me from your lasers.
Right. Is the actor's name Giancarlo Esposito?
Yeah, that guy.
So it's like he showed up to start filming, and they're like, holy fuck, we forgot to even make you a costume. So we're gonna throw something together real quick. Don't worry, it's gonna be great.
It's like they just saw
It's
him
gonna
on
be
set
great.
that day.
Yeah.
They're like, Giancarlo, what's up, man? Would you like to be the main bad guy?
Yeah.
We don't have anything that fits you.
Right. So they're like, we're gonna make it. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be great. And then I guarantee he put on. He was like, what the fuck?
It's like, oh yeah, I just cut my lunch tray in half,
Like this,
and we glued it to you.
Yeah. They're like, dude, you used nail polish to paint these lights on here, didn't you?
This is still wet. Yeah, don't touch it. Don't touch anything.
Don't touch it. Make sure you keep your arms away from it because it's gonna rub off.
Yeah. I guess I read into like the last scene when he like cuts with that crazy looking sword he had. Apparently that's like might be something called the Dark Saber.
Yeah,
which is like
I saw
something else that is crazy in Star Wars. Sorry if I don't have enough information to really talk about it, but I did see that it's like gonna play into the next season. Like it's some like somebody made it and it's got like both sides of the Force in it because it's like the Dark Saber. And
Yeah,
I don't know too much about it. Sorry I brought it up.
I'll tell you where I was definitely disappointed in all the new movies, even though, like I said, the first two of these, of the newest three, I was like, okay, they're entertaining. Mm-hmm. But I wanted, at one point, Luke to just come out and bawl.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker. Like, show that he's the most powerful Jedi ever.
I know. I feel like he was always, like, having, like, some weird inner battle, so he never, like, showed his full potential.
Like, no, dude, just go off. Since this whole series started in the 80s, I've always wanted to see you just go off and be the best, you know?
Right. And he had his moments, obviously, but like you said, he never had, like, an Ip Man moment, like in Ip Man 1 when he just beats up, like, 40,000 people by himself. You have seen those movies. Well, the first one's the best one.
I actually just saw the clips, but I need to check those out too.
The first movie is like the greatest one.
Yeah.
If you like a martial arts film.
Oh, I love martial arts.
It's about
films,
Wang Chun or whatever. The Bruce Lee stuff.
Yeah.
That's his like main practitioner of.
When you see this next one, like you'll see how strong of a Jedi that Rey has become.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're telling me that Luke Skywalker never had any scenes like this?
Right.
Like, are you out of your mind? But now she's just going to come out here and do whatever she wants.
I know.
Like moving planets with the Force.
Sure.
Not actually that, but.
Right. I get what you're getting at, though.
But I'll tell you, the best movie that has come out for those Star Wars movies recently is that Rogue One.
Oh, yeah. I like that one a lot, too. That was sweet.
Yeah, I put that up there with the first three.
Real. Well, it had Darth Vader in it again. I think that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
And, it was great. And it was about the Death Star. I think people probably related to it more, too.
Yeah.
Just having Darth Vader, like, the big bad guy. And he might even... I don't know. He
shone
pretty light. He shone pretty brightly in that storyline, like compared to the other times they've referenced him. Outside the original trilogy, obviously.
Yeah,
when he was the guy.
But in the storyline was amazing. It also tied into the storyline of the one where they blew up the Death Star, obviously. So,
right.
But yeah, that one was great. I really enjoyed that.
I did too. Very good.
You said you haven't really watched any movies. Did you happen to watch that Richard Jewell when Tommy rented it?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Oh man, I had
tell me about it.
I had zero expectations for it. Like I really didn't even want to watch it, but since Tommy rented it, I was like, "Fuck it, I'll check it out."
It's just called Richard Jewell.
Yeah, so it's about the Atlanta bombing during the Olympics.
Okay,
you remember that?
Yeah.
And so
very much.
Richard Jewell is the guy that found the bomb and pushed everybody back away from it.
Okay.
So basically, it saved some lives.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the FBI and the media made it out to like they think he actually planted the bomb in order to become a hero.
Okay,
which was not true.
Okay,
but
they painted him that way.
They destroyed his fucking life, man.
Yeah,
destroyed his life.
It shows you the power of the media.
Yeah, and it's like,
all. No matter what they put out, people are going to believe. Basically,
so
whatever they put their power behind, people will believe.
And it's just so crazy because you tell everybody to do their own research, but then people go too far and they just start believing every random YouTube video. And it's like, son of a bitch.
That can happen too.
They're like posting YouTube videos about like this. These people wanted me to watch this YouTube video about some coronavirus conspiracy, and it was literally a YouTube video by an unknown singer-songwriter. Why would I listen to her about anything about any virus?
Right.
Like, I'm not watching that. I'm sorry. Like, if you find me a video by some doctor or scientist, like legit, not a chiropractor like that most recent one, then I'll watch that. I'm not watching a fucking country singer talk to me about coronavirus.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't delve too deeply into the corona conspiracies. I do love a good conspiracy theory,
right?
But and sometime, I mean, it'll come out later. Like some of them, there's some truth behind.
Yeah,
and that's why people believe new ones. I think sometimes because there have been things like
in the past
have come out like all that stuff Snowden blurbed out about the Patriot Act, and they were like, oh, 9/11 happened, and then you were like, well, now we can surveil you no matter what.
Well, that's the biggest thing I think you have to look at when you're looking at conspiracies is, first of all, is there a good reason for whoever you're talking about to do what they're doing? You know what I mean?
Right.
Not just to fuck people up. You know what I mean? There has to be a reason to fuck the people up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But all right, back to Richard Jewell.
Yes.
So yes. Richard Jewell, he ends up being cleared of all charges and everything. But what happens is he's not the most intelligent guy. And he loves cops, so he's trying to be helpful, even though his lawyer keeps telling him like, don't talk. And he talks the whole time and keeps like volunteering and stuff. And he's a crazy gun collector. So like when the guys first come in to search his house, before they get in there, the lawyer's like, do you have a gun in here? And he was like, yeah. He's like, okay, just go out and put it on the bed. So that you're just being open about it. And then he goes into his room and there's like 20 guns on the bed. And a whole bunch of ammo.
He's like, okay, so you said do you have a gun? I've got a treat for you. I've got an arsenal in here.
But he ends up like always trying to volunteer stuff that ends up accidentally making him
like
get more
him
incriminated.
In the worst light, but he's like, but he just had all the information. He found it. He's just being honest.
Yeah. So it ended up being exceptionally good. I highly recommend checking it out. And also crazy. Sam Rockwell, just everything he's in, he's amazing.
Yeah. He's really like shines really bright. I feel like he's still kind of low key, but everything he's in, he shines very bright.
It's so crazy.
I agree.
Well, what's weird is it's like he doesn't get the big lead role. He's always like the guy second build or third build. But he's incredible. He outshines the rest of the cast usually.
He's assistant to the regional manager. not the assistant manager, just the assistant to the regional manager. Right. Like Dwight in The Office. Oh, man.
Oh, that's fucking great.
Oh, boy.
Speaking of that,
check that out.
Have you watched many Amazon shows? Made me think of it because of John, what's his name, Krasinski?
Yeah. I watched his. Yeah. I watched all of both seasons. Yeah. Super cool, and seeing him do that crazy stuff is like awesome.
Yeah.
Amazon. We talked about Miss Maisel already. Mm-hmm. Watched that one. I watched Carnival Row. I think we talked about that.
That was entertaining.
It was entertaining. Yeah, but I mentioned this before. Like it's like a fantasy story, but they try to create this like vast world, but it's not. It doesn't have anything to pull from.
Right.
It's not like based on like a book series or like an old series or like a reboot. So like they're trying to like paint this crazy picture that this people live in with fairies and half goats and like, it's just kind of hard for them to like start. It was really good, and I liked it, but without all that crazy source material, I think it's really hard to start a fantasy thing. Like Lord of the Rings is great, Game of Thrones is great because they have those the crazy.
They have a plethora of information to pull from.
Yeah.
And
they don't really have. That's a good one. Good job, Dave.
But I just feel like Amazon may be making the best shows out there right now, honestly.
They are making some great stuff. What else have I watched on Amazon? I want to watch... There's one I want to watch, but I'm currently watching Hunters.
Hunters is amazing.
Which is great. I'm really into that. It's crazy. It kind of ties into some old conspiracy theories, too, with that Operation Paperclip.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was a real thing.
Yeah, you said that was real. Explain that to me.
That's a real thing. So they touch on it in the show, and it's like mostly based in fact, which after World War II was over, the Nazis, they had like some of the best scientists, engineers, and there's like stuff like that.
There was almost like a battle between like Russia and America to get their best ones, right?
Russia was probably going to get them and like torture them, get information out of them, and kill them. But America took them
and like, we'll give you a job,
and like employed them, and like they ran our space program.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought they ran NASA.
Like a lot of them went to NASA and like other different times. There's actually a Netflix documentary called The Devil Next Door. That's actually a Nazi that was just like just a regular dude on this street. Like everyone just like loved him. He was like an old dude, but his like real name was like Ivan the Terrible, and he like was a crazy torturer in like these concentration camps. And he was just living in America until he was like elderly, and they finally caught him. That's a good one if you haven't seen it. I think it's called The Devil Next Door. It's kind of like a docu-series.
I'll have to check that out, even though you didn't check out mine.
Yeah, well, you don't like Space Jam. But yeah, so Operation Paperclip was very real, and the U.S. government, and you might think it might have been like one or two top guys, but no, it was like 1,600
I guarantee
scientists,
it was a lot.
engineers, like all kinds of stuff. And like one of the main guys at NASA.
And we just let them start over.
Yeah, I mean, they had a new bill on life. It was just like, that stuff you did, that was bad, but you're smart, so come on over to America and we'll give you a job.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we're just going to treat this like a video game, and we're just going to hit the restart button, okay? Don't worry about it.
Here's some information on Operation Paperclip. Was a secret program of the Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency, largely carried out by special agents of the Army CIC. 1,600 German scientists, engineers, and technicians, such as Werner von Braun. He was the V2 rocket guy. He worked for NASA. And he's like one of the reasons we got to the moon. And it's crazy. He worked there at the same time as those Hidden Figures ladies that were doing the math. They were all at NASA at the same time.
Awesome movie, by the way.
Yes.
Definitely. That's crazy because they didn't like black people.
Exactly. No, because they were Nazis and they wanted to kill them.
Right. Because they used to kill them.
Because they used to have a free bill to just murder people like
it's so
black
crazy.
People. Yeah. So all 100% real, Operation Paperclip. So they tie that into the show, and it's like in the 70s. So like obviously these people are working for NASA and whatever else, they in like high up at banks and crazy stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it's about these group of, they're not all Jewish, but most of them are Jewish.
Yeah. There's like 2 or 3 that aren't.
And they're basically
Jewish.
like Nazi hunters in the late 70s in America.
And they give them like their own trial as soon as they like basically kidnap them or trap them in a room. And
like what the end is going to be when they find them, but they put them on trial, getting information out of them. They're trying to get to the big dogs again, but they are finding like smaller pawns.
And then they lay the murder game down on.
Oh yeah, and there's some badass murder scenes. I'll tell you what. There's some great action in that. Al Pacino's in it, doing a great job.
Yeah, honestly, a great role for him because it's so different compared to what he normally does.
Yeah, it's his first.
You kind of forget it's Al Pacino,
right? You do, and it's his first like episodic series since his like acting debut. It's like the first time he's ever done like an I forget what he was on, but it was something that he made his break in, and it was like an episode show.
Yeah.
Logan Lerman, he's great. The Percy Jackson kid.
Oh yeah.
And he's in it.
I forgot he was in Percy Jackson.
Percy Jackson, and then he was in Furry.
I don't remember that.
It's called Fury.
Fury.
I call it Furry. Fury with Brad Pitt and the Tanks and Shia LaBeouf.
Who does a great job in that one too. He plays a weirdo.
Yeah, he was my favorite character in that movie actually.
Yeah. He's just so fucking good.
Yeah, he is. But
you haven't finished this, right?
I haven't finished it.
Dude,
I think I'm on like
wait.
I'm sure there's more coming. Like I said, I think I guessed who the main evil bad lady is, but it would be a big spoiler, but we can say it if you want.
Yeah, well, you're not even sure, so go ahead.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it's like probably like Hitler's mistress. Like the girl that they supposedly killed themselves, her and Hitler. Like they were like knew it was fallen, like knew it was time. They were like told the generals like get rid of our bodies,
right?
Because Hitler saw what happened to Mussolini when his dictatorship fell in Italy, and he got like mutilated, drugged through the streets, and embarrassed, basically. And Hitler was like, "Not me."
Yeah,
that ain't happened to me. So he was like, they were like, "Get rid of our bodies instantly." So I think Hitler. Well, they always said Hitler might have escaped to Argentina too. That's another conspiracy.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think they've confirmed now. And Jacob, look this up for us. I think they've confirmed now that the body that they thought was Hitler was definitely not Hitler.
That could be true.
I think they've confirmed that.
So I think it's probably going to tie into that because they already showed South America once. They showed a female scientist in South America killing a bunch of people. So I think it's going to be his mistress. I think she didn't kill herself and they got her out.
Yeah,
is what it's going to be. And now she's running the Nazi side of the stuff in America, just like living large.
Just wait.
Living very large too. They're all like rich as hell.
Yeah.
With like Nazi gold.
Just wait, man. There's quite a twist in this one.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's really good. But they just, so many of their shows. Sneaky Pete ended up being amazing. I'm pissed because I blew right through 3 seasons and I found out that there are no more.
Oh, damn.
Like, I blew through them and ended up being so good. Like, the first episode, I was like, all right. Because Steve Bolger told me to watch it.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, man, this first episode. Then after that, it was like, well, I'm never going to stop watching this.
Nice.
Like, this is just going to be on all the time.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I don't.
Really good. It's got how do you say his name? Giovanni Ribisi.
Eleanor Rigby.
Did you see anything on that?
No, I couldn't find it.
Okay, well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm making shit up.
Yeah, great.
Highly
Dave,
possible.
Just start your own conspiracy. Let's get our tinfoil out.
Hey,
Hitler's body was not Hitler. I mean, there's already some crazy conspiracies around where he went. If
yeah,
he's actually
because
died,
a lot of Nazis escaped to Argentina for real. That's a fact.
Yeah,
just not sure if it was if that was one of them.
That's I think that is actually like when they were getting
that
out
actually
of
says to prove that he died in 1945 after. Seeks an experience about our study proves that Hitler died in 19. So they're saying
there is teeth, so there's no doubt.
Yeah. Okay.
They got the dentals.
All right. Whatever.
You're wrong.
All right. Fake news. No, I'm just
Dave's
kidding.
out here spreading fake news.
So, but we.
I don't know. We were talking about Amazon shows.
Yeah, so all those shows, Expanse, if you're into sci-fi, is amazing, which actually didn't start out as an Amazon show.
No? It was on Sci-Fi, maybe?
It was on Sci-Fi, and it got canceled, and the fans threw a fucking fit.
Nice.
And Amazon was like, fuck it, let's just buy it.
I love when that happens, because like a lot of the streaming sites have rescued stuff like that. Like I think Hulu might have...
Netflix rescued
Netflix picks up a
Lucifer,
lot of stuff. Lucifer, yeah.
Which I love that show.
I don't
it's a
watch
guilty
that show,
pleasure.
but I've heard it's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and then
goes to Netflix.
Yeah, but so they got that Sci-Fi. They, I don't know, man. Just everything I end up watching from them, I end up loving.
Yeah.
I'm like, why did it take me so long to watch this?
Right. Yeah. But Jack Ryan, that's a great one.
Yeah,
I really
can't
like.
wait for the next season.
Yeah, I can't either. Season 2, I like season 1 more than season 2, but season 2 is still great.
Yeah, honestly, they're so close. I'm not even sure which one I like more.
Yeah, super fast paced, always got you hooked. That's a really great one. How could it not be? You know, he's just supposed to be some guy, but then he's like, I got these crazy skills, like Jason Bourne.
Yeah,
same guy wrote the stories. I'm pretty sure Robert Ludlum.
No.
No.
God damn it. Look up Jack Ryan books like Patriot Games.
It's Tom Clancy wrote Jack Ryan.
Clancy. Yeah.
Robert Ludlum wrote the Jason Bourne books, and there's way more books about Jason Bourne than
there's a ton.
There's tons and tons. And I think his son writes them now. I think he picked up where he left off, and I've read a few of them, but.
My dad used to get when we would take business trips, he would get the books on tape of the Bourne series.
I bet those were fucking great.
Yeah, it was cool.
Those are good. They're good books. There's way too more to the story. Obviously, there always is with books and versus movies, but
right.
Jack Ryan, love that one for sure.
It made me that show made me go back and try to watch some of the old movies because Jack Ryan is like the lead in Hunt for the Red October.
Okay,
he's Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger, and so a bunch of Harrison Ford movies, and then for some reason Alec Baldwin.
Don't hate on Alec, man. Come on.
I mean, I love Alec Baldwin.
One of those Baldwins had to make it. There's 100 of them.
Right. One of them had to become really famous.
There's that one that was an Encino Man, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. I always forget that. Yeah. Yep. Who I think his best role was Usual Suspects when he was in that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What a great movie.
Ah, man, so good.
I'd like to. Yeah, I need to watch that again. It's been a long time since I've seen it. That's such a good one.
Yeah, you know what I was really bummed about is the UFC getting canceled.
Oh yeah, it would have been tonight. Tonight would have been the night.
Know.
Tonight would have been the night. Tonight would have been the night of the holy grail of fights right now. Khabib versus Tony.
Yeah,
and then Khabib got locked out because he's from, he did what he did. He thought he was going on good info, and then he got locked out. Or he was running scared. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't think he's scared.
I don't think he's scared at all.
No, I don't think he's scared of anyone or anything.
Yeah, I don't think animals of any sort.
No, he's a killer. I don't like the way he fights. I still won't admit to enjoying watching him fight.
Yeah,
but
it's his fighting style is boring, but you have to appreciate it.
Yeah,
because nobody can stop it. You think somebody would be able to, and so far nobody can stop it.
It's funny that McGregor still talks so much shit on him. He just made a post recently that was like, he didn't say what he was doing, but it was obvious he was building the best fighter out of everyone's attributes. And he was like, Connor's left hand, Anderson's front kick, Ronda Rousey's armbar, and he was like, at the end he was like, and that little mermaid leg thing that Khabib does. Because he just gets you down, hold your leg,
put your legs together.
Yeah.
The little mermaid leg,
fish leg thing that Khabib does.
That's hilarious.
I mean, I'm not gonna knock him. He's a great fighter. He's obviously the best, one of the best there is right now, and he beat my favorite fighter, so,
right, so
can't really hate. But I still don't like him.
No, I just don't like his fighting style.
He can be kind of funny though. I was watching him There's this video of him when he was about to fight Tony another time, and it was like he was like reviewing movies for like Barstool Sports or something. And he's like talking all Russian. He's like, "This is a movie crap." It was like romantic comedies or something. He's like, "How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? Crap." Like just like kept saying how bad that. He's like, "I don't like this. I don't like this."
That's great. Yeah, he can definitely be funny. He what was I gonna say? But I don't know. He's a bad man. Yeah, that's all there is to it.
He's a great fighter, obviously.
That's what I was gonna say. So the Tony Ferguson, for those that don't know, the Tony Ferguson Khabib fight is supposed to happen like 5 different times.
Yeah, and tonight would have been the night for the fifth time they were hoping would be the charm.
Yeah, and COVID ruined that.
Yeah. Khabib got trapped, and then they were gonna save it with Justin Gaethje, and that would have been tonight with like, and Rosenstruik would have been on the card.
Yeah, the fight card looked great, but now they've released the new fight card for when it does come back, and it's maybe the best fight card in the history of the UFC.
Yeah, right, yeah, definitely. The undercard, the prelim card, could be a fight night card on ESPN on its own.
Right,
like,
so
for sure.
So we'll start with the main one. It's Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje, which is just going to be an incredible fight. Kind of scary because if Tony Ferguson does lose, then we don't get that Khabib fight.
Right, yeah, which would be unfortunate because that's all what everyone is clamoring for. That's what we wanted.
Right,
we were about to get it, and then a whole pandemic happened this time
to stop it.
Like if it couldn't get weirder than Tony Ferguson tripping on a TV wire and blowing out his knee the last time, they were like, "Oh, and this time, wait, some guy is going to eat a bat," and you'll see what happens from there.
Well, and did you see when they were doing one of the face-offs? Tony is such a weird dude.
Oh yeah, he's the weirdest dude, and
he's wearing sunglasses. Khabib is not wearing sunglasses, and he keeps telling Khabib to take his sunglasses off.
Yeah,
it's like, take off your sunglasses. Like, and Khabib's like, I'm not wearing sunglasses.
He's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't get this, man. Like, you can't even talk crazy to Tony Ferguson because he's like, you can't out crazy talk him.
No, because he's crazy.
You might talk some shit to him. You might even hurt his feelings, but he's gonna say something off the wall. And he was sending pictures of like the media guys, like the main media guys, like those ESPN dudes. The nose guy, what's his name?
I don't know.
He's got the Chael Sonnen show, MMA show on ESPN.
Oh, Ariel Hawadi.
Yeah, the nose.
Ariel Hawadi. Yeah,
he's got that schnoz on him. So he was like texting him pictures this week. He was like, made weight today, like the fight was going on. Like he sent him a picture of the scale, like making 155 even.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Did you see that video of him? He's in like a suit, doing a crazy workout where he's like throwing these like big pads all over the place and doing somersaults, and he's in a suit.
Yeah, some fighters have like been posting videos like imitating him and the crazy ways he trains now. Like it's a joke now. Like Sean O'Malley made one, and he like and he hit a bong because he's like a huge weed guy. He hit a bong, kicked it, like punted it into the grass, like just kicked it away. Then he chased his like main trainer was sitting backwards on a scooter. Someone else was driving. The dude was holding the pads for him, and he was like running behind him, hitting pads. He was like Tony Ferguson workout day 1. He had like a bike helmet on for some reason. And but Tony like trains that way. He's like, there was that video of him like running across tires that were standing up. Just like, it's like
he's a maniac, but he's a bad man.
Oh yeah, that's why. I think he could have got a push for the belt. I mean, obviously the Khabib fight has fallen through many times, and he was interim before, but I think they could have pushed him a long time ago. But he was like too weird. Yeah, like they were like, how's this guy gonna get on the mic as the champion? Well, he's the weirdest person of all time.
Yeah, and then he actually got put on like a psychiatric hold there for a minute.
Yeah, he did have a little mental spell.
Yeah,
but scared some people because his kid was there and he was like saying some crazy stuff.
Yeah,
but
and then this fight
he's all right apparently.
Yeah, this fight is actually going to be an interim belt fight.
Yeah. 3 title fights
on the
card.
Yes, because the next one, the co-main event is Henry Cejudo versus Dominic Cruz, which haven't seen Dominic in a while.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm looking at his record. I don't think I've ever actually looked at it before. I knew he was an amazing fighter. I did not realize he only ever had 2 losses. Yeah. I didn't know he was 22-2.
Yeah, I
remember him spanking a lot of people that he fought. Like I always remember him winning
because he's got a really weird style.
He does. It's like. Yeah, he's got great footwork though. It's like one of his big things.
Incredible footwork.
He just understands high fight IQ, like knows what to do. But then you watch him fight Cody Garbrandt. Cody Garbrandt made him look silly,
like he didn't belong in the UFC.
And now he's on 3 straight losses.
Yeah, because he just loses his cool and starts swinging like a maniac.
But it's crazy. Cruz is getting the fight because it was supposed to be Aldo, who also lost his last fight, which he won that fight.
Yeah, he won.
But they gave it. It shows as a loss, and they still gave him the title shot. But I think it's because Marlon already lost Cejudo. They weren't going to give him another shot because and the way he lost. Like Cejudo's will broke him.
Right.
He was I hit him with everything I had in the first round. Now I'm tired, and this guy's still coming at me.
Yeah, and there was just nobody else for him to fight.
Right. Yeah. Like who else in the band? Like Garbrandt.
Yeah.
3 straight losses.
Yeah. TJ Dillashaw's gone.
And lost to him at 125, but he might have. Who knows at 135?
Yeah.
But yeah, so Cruz got the shot, and I don't even know who else. Who's his other loss? I have no idea. But he's Cruz.
Cruz a long time ago. Uriah Faber.
Did he beat him once? Ago. I thought he always had Faber's
so too
number.
until I just saw it right there. But it was. I mean, it was in 2007,
and it was in the WEC. So yeah, he's only lost once in the UFC.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I didn't know that Garbrandt was his only loss because.
But how many fights does he even have in the UFC? Like 4 or 5 because he was injured the whole time.
Yeah,
1,
that's
2,
what I mean.
3,
like
4, 5, 6.
You don't
fights.
see him. You never saw him fight too much because he's been injured for like years at a time. Like it was like one thing after another. Like and like big surgeries, like crazy stuff.
And it's crazy that he comes back and is still like kind of dominant.
Yeah.
After being off for like 2 years at a time.
Except in that Garbrandt fight.
Yeah, he just looked. I mean, it's not like he looked bad. Garbrandt just looked incredible.
The crazy thing about him fighting when he lost to Garbrandt, that was his last fight. Ronda Rousey and Nunez headlined that card, so that tells you how long ago it was.
Yeah,
2016. Crazy.
Yeah, and now 2020, and he's getting his first fight back as a title shot.
Yeah, in 2020, 4 years later, coming off a loss. They're like, yeah, give it to Dominic. He's like a guy. Yeah. Everyone knows him because he's always on the pay-per-views and everything.
Yeah, well, and Cejudo wanted that because Cejudo wants like the big name fights,
right?
So, because he could have fought Sterling.
Yeah.
There's another good guy, but anyway,
he had lost his most recent fight too.
Did he?
And he could have fought Peter Yan, but nobody wants to fight him.
Yeah,
he'll
deadly.
be the champion, I think, before it's all said and done because he is a killer.
His striking is unbelievable.
He spanked Uriah Faber. Not that he had much business fighting Peter Yan, but he put him in a body bag.
I was hoping for Uriah because it was nice seeing him.
It was nice,
comeback.
Yeah, that win he had against a dude that. It's like a bigger name. He's got that mullet. Ricky Simone or Simon
something like that. But I would have liked to, and if he would have beat Peter Yan, he would have been fighting for the title. And
he would have
liked to see him versus Cejudo.
Yeah.
And then you got, and then Amanda Nunes. Might as well call this another co-main event because it's incredible. Amanda Nunes versus Felicia Spencer.
Another title fight.
Yep, can't wait for that. I love watching Amanda fight.
Who do you think takes that one?
I think Nunes.
It's got to be. There's who's gonna beat her.
Well, because even in her last fight, like I thought she was completely untouchable, and then in her last fight she faced some adversity.
Yeah, she did versus that Dutch cop. What's her name? Radadame.
Durandame.
Yeah. So, I just know she's a Dutch cop.
Yeah, but she showed that she is a champion because she had to adjust her game, and she did, and then still ended up kind of dominating her.
I know, and she had her on the ground, and I thought she was a jiu-jitsu black belt, but I was calling out some things she should have done. Like I've taken like 6 jiu-jitsu classes, and like I was like, no, do this, and you'll beat her. Like you have her. Yeah, which is crazy, but it's in a fight, so
it's in the heat of the moment.
You have to have your wits about you. She's probably mentally tired, and you're like. Any other if it was like the first round, she was like whoop, like put her right in the move that I was calling out.
Right, and she was getting hit hard with some really stiff jabs, so she was probably a little jumbled up.
Yeah, getting hit in the face over and over again, like it takes its toll on you for sure.
and then after that, we have maybe 2 of the scariest people in MMA because of their punching power.
Yeah, you got their side, just absolute
giant
monsters.
Men. Francis Ngannou versus, I'm not even going to try to say his first name, but Rosenstrike.
Yes, everyone knows his last name. It's like Jarzinho. He sounds like a Brazilian soccer player with that first name. Like if that was on the back of a Brazilian jersey, everyone would be like, yeah, that's his name.
Right. So,
but they're both African, just giant African dudes.
Yeah, and so Rosenstrike is he 10-0?
Yes.
Yeah. In his last fight, he was definitely losing to Alistar Overeem, and then busted his mouth open in like the last 4 seconds.
Knocked him right out, and like a pretty one of the worst cut you see from just one punch.
Just one punch split his lip all the way up to his nose.
Sometimes you see that stuff like from like repetitive damage. Like you took a lot of shots, like Robbie Lawler that one time when he got that cut that creeped up his face and ended up being huge. This was one punch. He busted his lip out like wide open, like to the meat.
Yeah,
all the
crazy.
way up his cheek, basically.
Yeah, actually, Jacob, just because I don't know if you've seen it, and look up Overeem lip.
It's crazy. I guess Rosenstrike is he was like a kickboxing champion.
Oh, really?
From his past before the UFC. Like he's a legit dude.
Yeah, just click on any of those.
Yeah, look at that one.
I have seen this before.
Oh my.
Yeah.
That is insane.
That's
so
like
gross.
that's raw flesh in there, like all the way up, and he's just smiling through it all. He's a badass.
Jacob
dude.
looks like he might throw up.
Yeah, and then they showed him like a couple weeks later, and it hit his face like right
Healed-
there, that
it-
like one
it-
down the bottom corner. Yeah, or the one you're on.
Yeah, it
it
healed
healed up
great.
like perfectly. Like who worked on him in Amsterdam for the cosmetic surgery?
Well, no, they keep a really good plastic surgeon on staff for the UFC.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Like people complain about their pay and stuff, but man, they get the best medical. The UFC
really
and the
do.
UFC covers all of it.
Yeah.
It's not even like an insurance thing. They're like, no,
Yeah.
we just pay for this.
Yeah, they don't cover a fighter like all the time. I forget who was talking about it, but I did hear a fighter talking about their health insurance stuff one time. But if you're in training for a fight and get hurt, or if you get hurt in a fight, like then like everything, all expenses,
Yeah,
like
all
whatever
expenses
you
paid.
need, like could be the craziest surgery, like
Yeah.
and like it might like not even be related to fighting. Like if you were training and like for some reason had like a weird heart defect and had like a weird like cardiac arrest or heart attack, it would be covered because.
Right.
It's brought on and it's in training camp or in a fight.
Right.
They would cover all of that. If you're doing something crazy outside and you're not training, like Donald Cerrone, he's
Like
like a
Donald
wild
Cerrone.
man. And like I saw this thing about Justin Gaethje. He's from Colorado. He snowboards all the time. And he's
Oh,
like
really?
actually really good. But yeah, they're like out there taking crazy risks. Like he was like going off jumps and doing like some 360s and shit.
Yeah.
But
He's
like if he got hurt doing stuff like that, or Cerrone, he's like jet skiing and four wheeling and he's like got his
not
baby
covered.
like spinning him around his head and stuff. Yeah, that's not covered.
he actually
Right,
got
you
injured
see.
before a fight doing something stupid. I can't remember what it was, but
Was it? It was like yeah.
it was something crazy, like parachuting or something.
Right.
Squirrel suit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
something wild. He is a wild man.
He is. I love him.
But yeah, I love him. Like that's the attitude you have to take. Like I would just I fight for a living, so I'm gonna have an amazing time with all my hobbies. Like I'm gonna have a great get my heart beating, have fun.
And then we got Jeremy.
Before we move from
Yeah.
Ngannou, I do want to say one more thing. One of our friends brought it up last night. Since like Stipe is still out with an eye injury and like him and Cormier are like lined up like whenever it happens, like they're calling for that to be an interim now, like some of their camps.
So there'd be 4 fights.
So it'd be
that
4
were
title fights. Yeah, they're calling for that to be an interim fight because if Stipe doesn't fight Cormier soon, Cormier's probably just going to retire.
Yeah,
and like,
and even if it does wait, how long is it going to be with an eye injury?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's like it's his eyeballs. It's important in a fight.
Pretty important.
Yeah, unless you're Mike Bisping, that crazy man.
Yeah, fighting with one.
I always talked a lot of shit on him because I never really liked him that much, but then I learned he was like fighting with one eye and like fighting through all kinds of crazy stuff. And, like,
it's amazing how like I wonder how he got approved to fight because they said like he was seriously basically blind in the one eye. That's fucking insane.
He has like a fake prosthetic now. Doesn't he?
Yeah, now it's a fake eye.
Yeah,
he popped it out in an interview.
Yeah. Oh man.
But yeah, he ended up winning the belt.
And he won the belt like on his last shot, pretty much. But he knocked out Luke Rockhold, and I liked seeing that because I don't really like him that much.
Same, I agree. The sad part is he should have lost his fight to Anderson Silva though, and that should have been like the start of Anderson Silva's little comeback.
Yeah, but it was in Great Britain.
Yeah, well, and what happened?
I thought that was a bit of a hometown advantage, and they didn't. Anderson like had him down.
Anderson knocked him out. He was knocked out, but he didn't. But he didn't jump on him.
Yeah, that was like the home cooking.
Yeah, he knocked him out. And then just was like, yeah, and like started to jump on the cage.
Thought it was like a walk off.
They're like, dude, it's not over. But he was clearly not.
It's one of those times like you could have waved it off because that dude was out cold.
Right, he had no idea where he was.
Which,
but
like,
then it gave him time to recoup and get together. And Anderson was like, seriously?
Yeah, and like Anderson's the type of guy like he's like had some of the most violent knockouts, but he's not gonna like put unnecessary punishment on someone because he's like a classy guy, classy fighter, like outside the ring. You know, he's like one of the best dudes. So he wasn't gonna like unnecessary violence, basically, that he probably saw like I don't need to get on him and beat his head in right now,
right?
Because one, we're trying to move away from stuff like that. Think of how many early calls they've had recently,
for sure.
So like he didn't jump on him,
like,
which he should have. He didn't fight to the bell.
It. You got to finish.
You know
it,
the
man.
rules.
That's all there is to
but
it.
He knew where he was coming from.
And he's like, Andy's got one eye.
Yeah, yeah.
So, all right.
I think I'm gonna beat up this cripple. He's knocked out. He's got one eyeball.
Yeah. And then we got, man, I didn't even notice that.
So that could be potentially 4 title fights. It's the first time in history.
And I would love to see Francis Ngannou get a title shot, even if it is interim.
Right.
Then
I mean, he deserves it. He had that one stinker, but I mean, look at with his track record. Other than that, he's been spanking people.
He hits so hard,
But so does
so
does your boy.
That's a terrifying fight. Like somebody could die.
That is what they said about the Derek Lewis fight, though.
Yeah, but you know what I found out is that not only did Derek Lewis have his back issue, Mm-hmm. But Francis Ngannou also had a leg issue.
Really?
So they were both actually
that makes
injured.
sense, and they just went on with it.
Because it was a bad fight.
Yeah, it was.
It was not fun to watch.
And you thought it was going to be so good.
Yeah,
like these two,
they're both so exciting to watch.
It's like the same build-up too. Like these two dudes, like crazy knockout power.
Yeah. Except these two both have, I think, more than Derek Lewis, which is crazy to say because Derek Lewis does have crazy knockout power.
Speaking of him for a second, and we'll come back to this. Did you see that video of him fighting that like random dude at his gym that was talking shit?
No.
Oh man, it was kind of he fucks this dude up, like beats him out of the ring, basically.
No shit.
Like, knocks him out of the ring. It wasn't that long ago. And I guess like the dude was in there training, like, and I guess he was good, maybe like an amateur guy or like semi-pro, something, maybe a pro boxer even, and he like. Derek Lewis had been out for a while, maybe after a fight, and then he was just coming back to the gym, and he walked in. He was like, "Who's that?" And this coach was like, "Well, that's the Black Beast, Derek Lewis, UFC fighter." And he was like, "That dude ain't shit." and Derek Lewis was like, "Pardon me, sir. Would you like to strap on some gloves and duke it out?" And they did, and it went as you could imagine. He beats his ass out of the ring, knocks him out of the ring.
Yeah, see if you can find that.
Yeah, just fights. Maybe that first one, Derek Lewis fights boxer. That might bring it up. Because it was pretty recent. It's a shitty video. That's it.
That's okay. Pull it up. I want to see it.
That 1 minute 53 one will probably do, or that 30-second one even might be fine. Because it doesn't last long. He gives it to him. He gives him the business.
Oh,
smack. Yeah, just crap. Over and over.
God.
See him? He's hanging over the ropes, and he's punching him in the body still.
Yeah, dude, play that beginning part again real quick because that was, dude, he is nailing him.
And you can see when he catches him with that right hand, he's already off of his feet. He's like dancing.
Dude, and he looks, in that video, even though it's a shitty quality video, he looks like he's in the best shape he's ever been in.
Well, he said that before
he actually has pecs.
Yeah, he said that before his most recent fight. He's like been actually like, he never dieted before. He's actually starting to like eat good.
Yeah.
And like train right. Never did like cardio or anything. Just went out and fought and knocked out people.
Also the best personality in the UFC.
Oh, yeah, dude. That Joe Rogan interview when he was like, "Derek, I'm here at the winner. Why'd you take your shorts off?" He's like, my balls was hot. So, like, you can't write stuff like that.
You can't write.
And Joe Rogan, like, doesn't know. He's just like, "I understand." Like, one of the best responses off the cuff, just like, "I understand.
I understand. I get it." Because he did. He won that fight and immediately took his shorts off.
Just took his shorts off in his underwear. He's like, "Derek, I'm here at the winner. Why'd you take your shorts off?" His balls was hot.
He's like, "I need to start doing cardio."
Yeah. And then he actually did won his most recent fight against Latifi when he moved up.
Yeah.
Moved up to heavyweight and like looks just like a bowling ball of a man.
Oh man, so crazy. So then we got Jeremy Stevens versus Calvin Kattar. Jeremy Stevens is never going to. I probably won't even ever break the top 10 maybe anymore.
Well,
but
he had his chance, and they gave him that Jose Aldo fight because he had won a few in a row. But then Aldo was like, "I'm still great," in case you forgot, and like beat him with body shots, like knocked him out with body shots.
But he's just always so fun to watch.
Oh yeah,
Little Heathen. He's a fun fighter.
Yeah, he's all violence all the time. And Qatar or Cater, I don't know how you say it, but he just fought Zabit, who's like the next up and coming guy.
Yeah.
And if that was 5 rounds, a lot of people say Cater wins because Zabit was gassed on the third and he was putting it on him. Yeah, that was his most recent fight, and he lost. But he
also beat Ricardo Lamas. Those were really the only two big names.
Andre Feely, he's a bigger name, but that was probably that was in 2017. But Feely's been making some noise.
That was his first fight in the UFC.
Beat Cody Stevens way back in the day. Who's Cody Stevens? Why does that sound? That just sounds like a familiar name.
Yeah, but I don't know who he is.
No, he ain't nobody. No, never seen that guy in my life, actually.
He looks hilarious.
He hasn't even been in the UFC, so he's in Ring of Fire fighter, and he was had to fight and won, which he lost.
All right.
Well, no, he's unimportant.
So then after that, this is a.
So that's the main card, apparently.
That's
that's the top 5 fights, right? That's 1 through 5.
No,
yeah,
that is 5.
Yeah, 1 through 5. So that would be the main card.
So then the God, this is crazy.
This would be the prelims.
Yeah. So then the prelims. Oh my God, it's got the headliner for the prelims is Anthony Pettis versus Donald Cerrone,
which is a rematch. They fought before,
and it's awesome.
Amazing fight.
Can't wait for that.
2 great fighters.
Then
maybe in the twilight of their careers, so to say, but still, when you match them up against each other, they have the same skills. It's going to be great.
It's going to be fun to watch. And then you got Greg Hardy versus Yorgan De Castro. They keep throwing him cans. Although Yorgan De Castro is 6-0, but click on him. Are any of those in the UFC?
Probably not. But they're giving him his push. Okay, he beat Justin Tafa in UFC.
Oh, Justin Tafa's kind of a big name.
Yeah.
So okay. So
he comes from Contender, which so does Greg Hardy. So
yeah. So okay. So who knows what?
But who did Hardy stepped in and fought somebody on short notice and lost, like a big name, and looked good but lost. Like was it Olenek or something like that?
Yep. Oh yeah, Volkov. Yeah.
Volkov. That's who it was. Who's had his.
And then that other one, no contest, overturned because he used a fucking inhaler.
That was so dumb.
In between rounds.
He was like
that's okay.
And he said that they told me I could use it.
Yeah, like who did you ask? You didn't ask anything important. You asked the guy like right before you got in the ring.
He was like, "Hey man, you look, you got a suit on. Can I use this inhaler?" And he was like, "Yeah."
I don't see why not.
Do you need it? Like that's what I would say. Like, I mean, if you need to use it, yeah. I don't want to revive you.
Right.
So yeah, he used the inhaler, and then he had another. He got disqualified for an illegal knee. So
yeah, it's
just I don't know.
I'm not a fan.
No, me neither. I get why they're giving him his push because he's got the big name and he's.
That's the disqualification versus Alan Crowder.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
And then he beat some guys.
Some randoms.
Yeah, but
then he's got crazy punch power. That's true.
That's what he's gonna have. He's a giant man, and he obviously top tier athlete. He was in the NFL.
Yeah, and was good.
Was a Pro Bowler, I think, before he started doing fucked up shit.
Yeah, and then we got Fabricio Verdum versus Olenek. Like what the fuck?
Olenek, he's been always a contender, and Verdum.
I didn't realize he was 58-13.
That's crazy.
That's fucking insane.
That's too many professional fights.
That's way too many professional fights.
He's 42. I guess that's why.
And he has 46 submissions.
Damn.
Holy shit.
That's wild. You don't see numbers.
That's going to be a big ground game fight because, that's where Fabricio Verdum is known for.
For sure. That's crazy.
That's insane.
So crazy. But yeah, this is Verdum's his first fight back in a long time. So it's the return of Fabricio
Verdum, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so it's his return, former heavyweight champion.
Yeah. How long has he been out? 2018. Lost to Volkov.
Yep.
But I mean, Fabricio Verdum, if you look at the people he's beat, I mean, go down. So he beat Travis Brown, he beat Cain Velasquez, he beat Mark Hunt, Travis Brown again, and one of the Nogueira brothers, Russo, Roy Nelson, Fedor, and Bigfoot Silva. Like, he's beat the who's who.
Yeah, Gabriel Gonzaga.
Yeah, he was actually, I think, the first person to beat Fedor.
Yeah, probably. He beat Fedor's brother, too. Look at that, in Pride.
He did actually beat Alistar Overeem a long time ago.
Yeah. So he's fought Overeem 3 times.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
Jungle Fight.
What
organization was that?
That was Jungle Fight, and I don't think it exists anymore. All those fights in Pride, too, against fucking killers. That's wild.
Yeah.
So his return and a big name, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. And then who's after that?
I think Karate Hottie and somebody. So obviously not the greatest female fighter, but another big famous one, big name.
Big day. People love watching her fight. She's beautiful. Mm-hmm. Michelle Waterson versus Carla Esparza.
Who's had her title shots in the past too.
Yeah, for sure. 15-6.
I did not know this about Carla Esperanza, but her nickname is Cookie Monster.
That's hilarious. That might be the best nickname.
I know. She should come out that should be her ring attire, her walkout gear. It's just a big Cookie Monster costume.
It should just be like one of those onesies with the hood.
Yes. But she fought Joanna for the belt back in the day, I think.
Yeah,
when she was champion.
And then I love this fight. Jacare Souza versus Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall is like the biggest waste of talent. He was a
letdown though, because when he was on The Ultimate Fighter, they thought he was like the second coming of Anderson Silva.
Yeah, like Anderson Silva style striking, but with much more power. Yeah, is what it looked like.
Yeah, he had that crazy knockout kick. He apologized to the dude after.
I thought that dude was dead.
Yeah,
I really did.
That was a crazy heel kick to the face.
Yeah, spinning heel kick, and the dude locked up like a board, but like bent.
Complete rigor mortis.
Yeah,
fell on his head.
Eyes were open.
Dead
and just breathing like
yeah.
I was like, oh, he killed him.
Yeah, they were about to read him his last rites.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't know, Jacob. If you've never seen that, try to find that Uriah Hall Ultimate Fighter knockout.
Yeah, it'll come up, I'm sure.
Because it was the craziest knockout kick I've probably ever seen. It's one of the craziest
kicks, like head kick knockouts. You could put it up there with all the other ones, I would imagine.
And I remember it so vividly because it's when I still really watched The Ultimate Fighter. I don't really watch it anymore. But
and he felt bad.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, my God.
He got taken out by an ambulance. And that's it. And
I think it might have fucked him up for the series because he lost. He wasn't the winner.
Losing, yeah.
Gastelum won.
Yep.
And now he can't even fight at that weight class anymore.
Here we go. Watch this. This crazy shit.
I
was rooting for this other guy because he's from St. Louis.
Oh, okay.
Boom.
Oh. And then he just crumbles. And he's celebrating at first, and then he's like, oh, wait.
Like, wait, this dude's dead.
Look at him. Yeah, he's in a bad spot. Dana White's pacing.
Fucking crazy.
He's like, I just saw somebody die. Nobody knows what to do.
Like his eyes are open and he's breathing crazy, but he's not awake at all.
Yeah, and then they show Uriah Hall and you can see the emotion on his face and everyone's just speechless. It was probably silent in that room because there's no fans. Like no one's cheering. Everyone's just like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That dude's dead.
Dude, that's insane. Just look at him. Everybody should look that up. I forgot Chael Sonnen was the coach.
Yeah. Chael Sonnen and
I love Chael Sonnen.
I forget him.
I used to hate him so much, but he's awesome.
I love him now. Yeah, he's so funny. I did hate him because we like Anderson Silva. That's probably the main reason.
He just talked insane shit about
so
Anderson.
much shit, and we were like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
but they had great. Their fight was amazing.
Yeah,
did they fight twice?
They fought twice. The first one was incredibly
when
great.
he submitted him.
Yeah, because he was losing the fight.
Yes,
he was losing the fight and submitted him in like the last minute
for sure.
Yeah, and he said he told everybody before the fight though because he was making fun of his jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And he was making fun of his jiu-jitsu coach, and he told his coach, like, there's a documentary.
Yeah, I watched it. We watched it way years ago. Yeah. It's called Like Water, right?
Yep.
So it's like a Bruce Lee quote, like water finds its shape of whatever it's in. So you have to be like be like water.
You have to flow like water.
Yep.
But so he said during that documentary before the fight that the only way he would beat Chael Sonnen was by submission since he talked all that shit, and he did.
And he did.
It took him a while.
Yeah, and he was losing.
Yeah, he was for sure losing.
Chael Sonnen was beating him. He was wrestling him. He was taking him down.
Then he beat him pretty quick on the second fight.
Yeah, the second fight it wasn't the same.
Yeah. Then there's some other. I mean, Nico. That Vincent. I don't know how to say his name.
Vincente Luque, I think.
Yeah, and then versus Nico Price. That'll probably be a really fun fight.
Luque's coming off a knockout win, right?
I think so. And that Nico Price dude is a lot of fun. But then the other one after that, I don't know who they are. But that's the most.
Oh no, Bryce Mitchell. You probably don't know, but he just pulled off a twister in his last fight, won by twister.
No shit. What's that, like the second time ever?
Yeah, I think so. And he's the one that always wants Reebok to make him camo shorts. He's like from Alabama. He's like, Reebok, I won. Can I get some camo shorts, please?
That's great.
But yeah, they're
12-0.
Beat Matt Sales with a twister submission by twister.
Fucking crazy.
So, yeah.
Korean Zombie did that to Leonard Garcia.
It was after he beat Throwdown just a little bit. That was his UFC debut, I think, after the Ultimate Fighter finale. Apparently, he won season 27 of the Ultimate Fighter. Maybe.
Yeah.
But he beat Bobby Moffett, and then he was commissioning Reebok for some camouflage shorts because he's from Alabama and he's a country boy.
He's got 9 submissions, 3 decisions, so we might see another crazy submission. That twister's insane. First time I saw it, I didn't understand what was happening.
Yeah, you're just like, what's he? Oh, that guy's body. Oh no, he's gonna rip him in half.
I remember when look at that one right there. When Joe Rogan was announcing that fight with Korean Zombie versus Leonard Garcia, and he was like, he's going for a twister, and I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? And then all of a sudden,
and those how good were those Korean Zombie and Leonard Garcia fights?
Especially the first one.
Yeah, the first one was that's where he got his name. I'm pretty sure the Korean Zombie because he was literally a zombie in that fight.
They
and
were
just kept coming and swinging
for the fences, dude. Both of them.
Leonard Garcia, he was like a weird little Mexican that didn't seem like he was in too good a shape, but he could throw down,
just throw down
like a slobber knocker every time.
And now he's in. Look, here it is. So you're like, oh, okay, he's just got this leg control. Now what's he doing? This is when Joe was like, it looks like he's going for a twister. And I had no idea what he was talking about.
I thought he made it up.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was. Look at this.
And then you grab his head.
Look at that.
Yeah, so you're like behind him, and you get one leg, and then you twist his neck all the way the other way around.
It's so crazy looking how the body contorts.
I can't wait till Zombie comes back and fights too. He had like an eye surgery too.
Did he?
Yeah.
I love Zombie though. He's a lot of fun. He's a good fighter. And he lost like 2 years or something because he had to go serving his military because you have a commitment that you have to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of smaller countries it's like that because they don't have a lot of people to pull from. It's not like America where people are signing up to join. Mm-hmm. So they mandatory 2 years military service.
Yeah. But that's unfortunate because he was like in the prime of his career.
He was, yeah.
And he's still doing good. So
yeah, well, he's about to fight Ortega probably after all that crazy stuff that went down with him and his dude, his translator, management company. He slapped his homie.
Yeah, to me, there's still no I'm a Brian Ortega fan, but there's still I just still don't see any call for him.
Slap some little man, a little Asian man.
Yeah, who's not a fighter at all.
He's a rapper. And
he's a rapper.
He's like K-pop guy.
Yeah, and he's like the translator for Korean Zombie.
He's like signed to his management team now. Yeah, and like but since Korean Zombie was like always kind of quiet, like he doesn't really speak English, so he's never on the mic talking shit. They think he was like the one talking shit on like Twitter or Instagram or something. So Ortega just went up and slapped him. But he waited till Zombie went to the restroom. So like it was kind of like I like Ortega, but that was
it was all stupid.
Yeah. Sometimes you just slap him.
It made me think when we said translator, I forgot about how bad the translator was for that after the
that Weili Zhang fight. Yes. Yeah. He was just like, she said so many things, and he was just like, I'm really nervous too.
Joe Rogan was like, come on, pull it together, brother.
Yeah. He was like, this is your chance. Yeah. You're Chinese. I know what happens to people when they fail in big time moments. I'm trying to save you.
Yeah. I did want to tell you about this movie I just watched today called Jexy. And it's got what's his name from Workaholics? The dude who does like more than the other two guys now.
Adam.
Is it like Levine?
Yeah, Divine. It's not Levine because that's the Maroon 5
right.
guy. But his last name's like the same, but a letter off.
Right.
So I know who you're talking about. I think it's Divine. He was in like the Pitch Perfect.
Yeah, Divine. And, so this Jexy movie, it's really interesting. Actually, so it's about this guy has a weird relationship with his phone, and his phone is like actually got a mind of its own now. You know what I mean?
I remember seeing the previews. I never watched it, but I did watch the previews, and I was like, that's probably pretty interesting.
It's definitely a comedy, but man, it really shows you like the beginning. It's showing everybody walking around San Francisco just on their phones.
Just like on their phones, yeah.
Just all on their phones. And then when they start showing him like getting off of his phone and he starts having a life, it's still everybody around him is on their phone.
Still on their phone. And he's like trying to.
It's kind of a crazy thing to see and
like,
true,
but like 1,000% relatable.
Yeah, because it's real.
Right,
you see it all the time.
100% real.
Yeah,
that's why your phone like sends you updates of your screen time weekly. Like, hey, your screen time was up or your screen time was down. You did a good job.
It's depressing when you see how much screen time you have on your phone. You're like, God, I waste 5 hours a day on my phone.
It's crazy.
That's insane. Have you ever checked your screen time, Jacob?
Yeah.
What's yours at?
I don't remember. I usually just slide and clear it.
Yeah, I don't want to see it. Yeah. I don't want to see that.
I want to see what everybody's is right now. Let's try to look that up.
Okay.
Because it's insane. Like the first time I checked it, I heard about it on different podcasts that you could check it, and I checked it, and I was like, "Oh, mine's not going to be very high."
Yeah.
It was like 6 hours a day.
Right. I think mine will be like 5 or something. Sometimes I'm like, okay, but I do watch a lot of podcasts on YouTube.
Yeah.
So like my screen's always open, and I'm not. Very seldomly am I actually looking at it because I might be like driving or something. So if I'm like watching Joe Rogan or like one of those, I do go the YouTube route because I like the video aspect of it.
Yeah.
So like I'm like, okay, but for like a half hour, 40 minutes a day, it's probably Joe Rogan being on or like one of the other podcasts I've been listening to on YouTube or something like that. So I try to talk myself down.
Yeah,
with that,
right? But it doesn't work.
Look.
So mine, you go to it took me a second to find it too. It actually says screen time when you go to settings.
Oh, it's in settings.
So mine's actually down 17% from last week, but it's still 3 hours and 56 minutes. So 4 hours.
Yeah, mine's 4 hours too.
Mine's 5:43.
So almost 6 hours.
I'm down 20% from last week.
Yeah, mine did say down. I'm down 22% as well.
It's insane. Like, if you think about it, like, do you know how many hours of your day that is? Like, you sleep for 8 hours a day. There's only 24 hours in a day.
And you're probably at work for 8 hours most days, so you're not on your phone most of the time. So I mean, unless you are. I'm not. I can't really be, but
so it's like your free time is spent scrolling through shit on your phone.
It's crazy.
It's insane to think about. Like, God, what a waste of fucking time.
I know they say screens at time, but you could also But you could also be doing something constructive with screen time too.
You can.
But not saying that everybody does, or that even I am doing such things.
But to me, there's no way if you're averaging, 4 to 6 hours a day that it's all constructive.
No, it's not. It's mostly mindless.
You can even go more into it and see like how much time you have on each app.
Okay, what's your
like messages is my most used. I have 5 hours in 5 hours in messages.
So like just text messages?
Yeah.
Okay.
So so you're a popular guy.
Yeah. What's it like to be famous?
A lot of my work is on text messages too.
Oh, okay.
I text a lot of people I work with during the day.
Yeah, it does make sense. Yeah, because you guys probably constantly messaging each other because you're doing like logistics,
right? A lot
right?
of text and emails. Yeah.
Text and emails. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, you can't get away from it in that case, really.
What that means is a lot better than mine.
Well, I watch a lot of YouTube videos. That's what I'm going with.
You're just gonna keep going with
Yeah.
that.
It's true.
But this was a really fun movie. I really enjoyed it, but it really it kind of resonated with me because I also grew up in a time where we didn't all have phones. Like all through high school, we didn't have cell phones.
No.
Like if you had a cell phone, it was because your parents gave you their cell phone
to take with you.
To
call them,
Yeah.
or like
so that they could get a hold of you, or you could get a hold of them.
call
in case
them when
of
you need
emergency.
like a ride or emergencies. Like there wasn't something you could go on and like look at. It was literally a phone.
Yeah, it was a Nokia brick.
It was like maybe it had Snake if you were lucky.
Yeah.
It was one of the newer Nokias.
Yeah, and I still played Snake like a crazy person too.
Snake was fun though.
Yeah, I mean it was fun. It was enjoyable.
Yeah, I could play Snake right now, honestly. I didn't like Snake 2 though. Once you could start going through the walls and stuff, I was like, that defeats the purpose. You're supposed to like build up the snake and you like go up and down.
Yeah.
I was pretty good at it. I think I probably played it too much. My screen time has been high forever.
Me and you did a bourbon tasting the other day. Keep getting crazier with bourbon. I actually.
If you could see his setup, you would understand. But there's like maybe 18 to 25 bottles of bourbon in his kitchen on a shelf. It's got its own shelf now, and they are listed from top shelf to bottom shelf. And you could say it's a bit of a thing. I got
like 3 or 4 more bottles on the way.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bean.
Yeah.
Actually, he just got me a new one. He was trying to drop it off today, but I went and saw my friend. He built a little. Basically kind of speakeasy in the basement of his business, and the walls and stuff just got finished, so I went and checked it out, and the ceiling.
Very nice. So there'll be bourbon there too.
Yes, I actually donated a bottle of bourbon to it
to the cause.
Yeah,
very nice. So you can understand just by that he donated a bottle of bourbon because he has so many he could do without one.
I have doubles of some of them.
Yeah,
and rare ones. It's like something that's a little hard to get.
Yeah, no, I'm into it. I definitely am.
Yeah,
it's a different experience.
But how far I've taken it, real quick, is Steve said it, and then I saw it on the documentary called Neat, which I think everybody should watch. Gives you a lot of history of bourbon. Made me love bourbon even more. Like I needed that.
Yeah. It is uniquely American too.
That's one of the things I love about it. Yeah. It's uniquely American,
which is pretty. You can't like make it in
other countries. Yeah, you can call it bourbon.
Right.
You can try to do the same thing, but you're not allowed to call it bourbon.
It just doesn't happen.
And so, what they talk about is during the tastings. Like they always in the tastings that we've done on the podcast, we taste it and smell it without water, then we add water. But supposedly the water in Kentucky, because it's like heavy in limestone, is supposed to be even better for it. So I went online and bought some limestone water from Kentucky.
Yeah, so he's got he's got a little dropper bottle full of Kentucky water that he drips into his bourbon.
But you guys did that for the first time, and isn't it crazy how much it changes, especially the smell, man. Right. The taste too, but the smell is crazy.
The smell really blew my mind. It was like like you smell it first, and then like take a little taste of it.
Those are the exact bottles I got right there.
Yeah, and then you do a little drippy drop of the Kentucky limestone water, and it completely like you smelled something completely different. Like it was a different thing. You smelled completely different notes that you're getting, different whole smell category, I guess you could say. Like it changes the body of it completely, and the taste. Not as much the taste, which is crazy, but the smell really changes, and it's wild.
Yeah, it's insane how it works.
Yeah, it blew my mind last night for sure.
But it was fun. We got together. We all did stay nice and separated though. There was about 4 or 5 of us.
We broke a few rules,
apart, but we stayed. It's supposed to be less than 10.
Yeah,
and we weren't staying right next to each other.
Yeah,
there might have been a hug or two.
Yeah, we might have hugged. That's weird. But yeah, no, I'm into the bourbon. It's because of you, but it's really great. And you have like 100 bottles, and you're like, drink whatever you want. So it's easy to enjoy.
It's definitely become me and Tommy's collection because I lost my job, so I don't have money to really kind of blow on bourbon, unfortunately. But Tommy's like, well,
you wouldn't know.
Well, Tommy's like, well, man, I drink your bourbon all the time, so I'll just start buying bottles.
Right.
And you
got a bit of an in now too. You got a bit of an in to get the rare stuff, so which is really nice. So because like Blanton's and like E.H. Taylor, all those higher, kind of hard to find one.
Henry McKenna, hard to find,
but all the best stuff. So delicious. And
the reason I told everybody to go ahead and drink whatever, I didn't care if we ran out. I put one back, and that was the Groth Cab because there's very little left, and I have it's made by Jefferson's. So I got the Jefferson's.
It's autographed by Thomas Jefferson.
It's autographed, but it's not Thomas Jefferson. But it's the Jefferson Reserve, and it's the Groth cask one that we tasted on the first bourbon tasting. But I have a Pritchard cab from Thomas Jefferson coming, so I wanted to be able to compare the two on a tasting, and there's very little left of that Groth, so I took that one away.
There was just a bit left, and it could have gotten drank for sure. Because
so,
we were hitting it pretty hard.
Yeah,
the bourbon's pretty hard, but you wouldn't be able to tell because they tried so many different kinds, and there's so many bottles that like probably most of them didn't lose that much volume. Honestly,
they honestly didn't because everybody
we were like bouncing
jumped around. But I wouldn't have cared because, and I'd already said it on the podcast before. Like you remember in the last tasting, Jacob, like Steve kept asking if it was okay to drink that. I'm like, dude, we drink what we drink on these, because my feeling is like. The collection is made for me to share with my friends. You know, it's a fun thing to do with friends, sit around, do these little tastings. And then when I watched that neat documentary on Hulu, one of the most famous people in bourbon, he's not actually a bourbon maker. He actually does the tours at Buffalo Trace.
Okay.
But he's a third generation Buffalo Trace employee. This really cool older black guy. And he was told a story about his dad and his brother sitting around when his dad was a lot older, and he opened a bottle of Pappy 20, and he was like, Dad, are you sure you want to do that? Like, that's really hard to get. And he said, son, great bourbons will keep coming out, but bourbon is supposed to be shared with your loved ones and family and friends. And he said, and he was like, wow, that's really awesome. And they drank the whole bottle of Pappy 20.
Damn.
In that sitting.
I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Not
I
to
would have been shit faced.
And even though its MSRP is like maybe $120, it's actually like a $5,000 bottle because you can't get it.
It's wild. Like you can't get it anywhere. Like there's, how much have they even made of it in like a lifetime? It's can't even like fathom it.
Go down, because I didn't realize that this guy was so famous in the bourbon world. I want to see if they have his name. They don't have pictures, so I wouldn't know who it is.
Oh damn!
But he's actually in like, I've seen him now in like multiple interviews. Like everybody knows who this guy is.
He's like the guy.
Yeah,
he's the go-to.
But he just
bourbon guy.
Yeah, try Images.
No. That's John Wayne.
Yeah, no, they're not going to show him.
Oh man!
But he's Buffalo Trace, third generation employee. Like his grandpa worked for Buffalo Trace. I think before it was called Buffalo Trace, and then
when was that? In 1770?
Yeah. And then his dad also did Buffalo Trace bourbon guy.
It's really not coming up, is it?
No, it's really not. That's Mark Zuckerberg. So
that's weird. That looks photoshopped.
Oh, that's him. That's him right there.
Freddie Johnson.
Freddie Johnson. Shout out to Freddie Johnson. He is awesome.
Freddie Johnson sounds like a baseball player from like the 80s.
It does.
Like, there's fast Freddie Johnson stealing second again.
Yeah. So he's in like everything that I see now with bourbon. Yeah. There's these little interviews on Amazon. They're like I don't know, 2 or 3 minute interviews, and he was the very first episode.
Damn, that's awesome, and it is great. I've become a pretty big fan of bourbon just from tasting them. These few times we've had them here. Last couple times I was on the podcast. And, it's very delicious, and that puts a nice romanticized spin on it. Like bourbon is made to be enjoyed with friends and loved ones. So you're like, well, that's why I have 25 bottles of bourbon. That's what I'm gonna
and growing.
That's what I'm gonna start saying anyway, so I don't look like like an alcoholic to the fullest.
I'm actually gonna have to eventually get like a much better shelf. Like that shelf's just like one from Walmart.
You're gonna need a bigger shelf.
I'm gonna need a bigger one, something a little fancier.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
Well, and you know what I'm thinking about doing, because recently we've ended up with quite a few people in the studio from time to time, and it gets kind of crowded because this is a bedroom that I turned into a studio.
Right.
So I really don't use my living room that often. So I'm thinking of turning it into the studio and like a speakeasy feel.
And then we could all be sitting on like a couch with this mic instead of this high top chair.
Well, I think I'd still use the table for that, because I've heard people talking about doing podcasts on a couch, and they say they get really uncomfortable.
Yeah, and
which is weird to think about.
If you like start feeling comfortable, you might be like more like tired, maybe like get you tired a little bit, like zoned out, like you're like, I'm on a couch, and I just want to chill. But here you're like actually engaged, and you're like sitting across from somebody, like actually having like a conversation, as opposed to like when you're on a couch, you're like probably more apt to like, let's put on a TV show and not talk to each other for a while.
Well, and that was my main thing for saying like I don't really use my living room that often, because I mean I'm in my living room, but really I end up just taking a nap on the couch every time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
So I want to kind of do that, and I have to wait till these panels are built. I was actually Jacob's dad is going to build the panels for me. They're
what
gonna
a
be
guy!
The nicer sound panels, and he was talking to me about it today. And he was like, "Just let me know when you want to start that." And I said, "It'll probably have to be once I start bartending again, because I really don't have money." He was like, "Just give me the measurements, I'll start making them."
Right.
So he's going to make it for me. They're a lot nicer looking, so they look like canvas, so it wouldn't be like. There wouldn't be a bunch of these
just pads on the wall.
Yeah, they look a lot better, like the paintings that you guys do. They're that kind of setup.
Okay.
So
more framed and
right,
everything.
like a canvas thing.
Like a canvas.
So if we can get enough of those done, where I can kind of put them all over that room, the big room out there, because they work better than this too. They don't have. There doesn't have to be as much of them.
I see.
So if we get those done, then I think I'm going to turn that into studio/speakeasy out there.
That would be cool. I would agree though. You should probably keep. I like the table feel of it of the podcast.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever done one on a couch, but I see how that might go.
Yeah, and I think because there's actually another leaf to this table I can put in. So I think if we did it out there, we'd have a lot more space. So I'd probably put the other leaf in.
Okay.
And then I don't know. Maybe one day we'll try to get Jacob a nicer desk.
This works fine.
He's a man of few needs. He likes his desk.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, you got anything else, brother?
Not particularly. Nothing comes to mind.
Nothing comes to mind.
Sad the UFC's not tonight, but if we get that May 9th card, if they open it back up somehow, they pull that off.
Well, and actually, I want to know if it's going to be on Fight Island.
I know.
They bought the island, or are they renting the island?
I don't 100% know. He said he was getting a private island, so I would think maybe they're buying it. I'm not sure, but like I was telling you before the podcast, before we started, at the end of last week, they did trademark 22 different things that was all related to UFC's Fight Island or whatever. And there was a conspiracy that it was going to be Jeremy Epstein's fuck island.
Yeah.
So they were like, yeah, we'll just take that one. He's not there anymore, right? Right. But I don't think there was any truth to that. At least I hope not, because apparently that's where all the worst stuff ever happens took place there. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be crazy to see, because they want to do that because obviously the reason Cruz is getting that title shot was supposed to be Aldo, but no one can get out of their country or into our country. He couldn't get a visa. Yeah. All that stuff that office is closed. Like, you can't go there to apply even. Not that they'd grant you one. Yeah. Because of what's going on, but. So, yeah, they could get international fighters there because everybody on that card is an American-based fighter.
Yeah.
So you would think.
Well, not Fabricio. He might live in the U.S.
I feel like
now.
He has to live here. If he's going to be on the card, I think he probably does, because no one can get a visa.
Right.
Unless you might have dual citizenship or something and be able to have private travel or something like that. Yeah. And they were going to try to get Khabib back in when they said they were allowing Russian private business flights still.
Okay.
Even though the country was shut down, they were like, there's a chance. But then he was like, nah, I should probably just be quarantined like everyone else. And he was like, I'm Khabib. I'm not coronavirus.
It would. It'll be cool. I think they'll probably only do Fight Island. They would have to be more renting it, because they can only do that for a year or two, because you still can't have crowds, because you're not going to get a massive crowd of people to go to Fight Island. It's going to have to be the no crowd fights.
Yeah, and you'd probably have to build a hotel and build a whole campus almost. But they were going to say they were going to have fighters live there. Like, even Valentina Shevchenko, she was like, that's a great idea. I will live there. And it's like, I'll train there every day. Like, it'd probably be lawless though. Who's governing Fight Island? Who is the governing body? Dana White? He's just like, I am Emperor of Fight Island. It could be some weird shit going on there. If it's international waters, who rules this? Is it sovereign?
Right. Yeah, that is crazy. I didn't even think about that.
Who's the ruling body?
Is this a sovereign? Is this a sovereign country of its own right now?
Are they gonna build a hospital? What if someone gets fucked up? They're just gonna bury him on the beach.
Yeah. Oh shit, we gotta bury another one. But I'm excited, because I think UFC is gonna be the first sport back, and
it's the Wild West. I mean, they about were. It was gonna be tonight.
They got shut down by Disney and ESPN.
Yeah, but ESPN just went along with it. They were for it at first.
I'm 100%
they
all were.
2 days later, they asked a bunch of people to take pay cuts, 100 people.
I heard
main personalities.
Yeah, I heard it was the California governor had a lot to do with it, because it was going to be on an Indian reservation in California,
which is sovereign land, which they can't really say anything about.
But I think the governor tried to say fuck off, and Disney was fine. You know what? It's not worth the
Disney is the one
PR.
that pulled the plug, and then ESPN was like,
which
isn't true though, because the week of the day before, Dana White was on all those ESPN morning shows getting interviewed, talking about yep, it's happening, it's going to be on ESPN, and everyone was, I'm not telling you where. It was before he would even say.
Yeah.
But you knew they were on board because they were finally going to make some money too.
Yeah.
Because they're hurting.
Because it was desperately needed.
They just like keep talking about all they can talk about is like the NFL draft and like how sports might come back.
Yeah.
But they still have all their morning shows on like every day.
Yeah, it's
so really
crazy.
Weird, but there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah, the NFL trades and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
Which like give them some stuff to talk about, but it's all speculation. Everything is speculation now. Like nothing, no body of work to go on. Yeah. But they're coming out with that mini series about the Bulls. They pushed that up,
Can't wait.
That's going to get so much viewership, I think, and co-produced by Netflix. So Netflix got its hand in everything.
You know, the only thing I completely it just like left my brain completely. Oh, the UFC, we're gonna make it a pay-per-view. So I wish they would have just put it on ESPN.
Yeah.
Like nobody has money right now.
Right,
just
everybody's out of work.
I mean, luckily we have a friend that is still working, and actually you're still working too. But we have our friend that buys all the pay-per-views. He's still working. So. So he would definitely still get them.
Very, very thankful to still be working.
Yeah.
Very nice, especially when there's so many people. Like 22 million people filed unemployment in the last month. Like crazy amounts. Broke that system. Like they weren't ready for that.
Yeah, nobody was ready for that. No. The crazy part is like some of those people could have went and got a job. I mean, I kind of screwed myself because I went and got a job that was even less. And all the grocery stores are hiring. Just everybody that walks through the door.
Yeah.
They're giving everybody a shot. So if you had like a more minimum wage or $9.50 wage, you could have went and got another job. You didn't want to.
Right. Yeah. You were like, I could chill.
and make $50,000 a year with this unemployment. It's crazy how much unemployment they get.
Because they're getting an extra
$600 a week.
And like people that were on unemployment first were like pissed about that. They're like, why are they getting an extra? But like, well, you could have gotten a job too.
Yeah. Right.
So, because these people had to work and they're forced to file unemployment because their job is
And don't
gone.
get me wrong, there are some people that they probably couldn't go get a job, but
you could.
There was a lot of people that could go get a job.
Think about if you were like a high ranking like the top next to like if you worked in a dentist's office and you were like the one step down from the dentist, you were like the main whatever that's called,
like a hygienist or nurse assistant or whatever the hell it is. Yeah,
like an assistant to the regional manager. But like those places closed for the most part, so you're like laid off and out of jobs. Like a high-ranking dental worker probably isn't like trying to go make $9.50 stocking grocery shelves or whatever it may be.
Don't get me wrong, it sucks because I'm making like maybe a fourth of what I would make bartending.
Right,
like it's a struggle.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
2 weeks pay just does nothing but cover my rent.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's kind of crazy, and then I still have to pay all my other bills out of that.
Yeah,
and shitty shout out to GM Financial, who my car loan is through.
Right, we did that this last time too, but fuck y'all.
Well, man, it got even worse. So they called and they were like, "Hey, you haven't made a payment," and I'm like, "Yeah, man, do you not know what's going on? Like,
do you pay attention?
I lost my job. You know what my job is because I had to put it on the loan application.
Exactly.
And so
Which you approved.
Yeah, right.
You knew what I was about.
So I lost my job, and they were like, and the first words after I said I lost my job, the first words the guy said to me was, "Well, just pay us out of your unemployment."
Oh
yeah?
Is that right?
So then they called again today, and I was like, listen, the guy said he was pushing the payment, but still collecting interest and everything else, late fees, but pushing it so they wouldn't call me or whatever. And he said, I said, listen, I talked to the last guy, and I told him. And she was like, well, so you can't make the payment. I said, listen, my options right now are pay my rent so I have a roof over my head or pay my car loan and be homeless.
Yeah.
And she was like, so no payment then. And I'm like, no payment. And she was like, okay.
I tried to lay this out for you, but you're still asking the obvious question.
Right.
Which is unfortunate because that's probably your job. But listen, fuck off.
Yeah. They're the worst.
Like, pass this along. Let me talk to the person that can get this furlonged because that's what you should do. Just raise a stake and be like, I want to talk to your your manager and talk to them. And like, if you keep demanding to talk to like the next person in line, you might get somewhere, but that's going to take how many hours of your day to complain about?
Well, yeah, and now to even get this thing like pushed, they have to send me an email, and I have 24 hours to fill out a form, and they make it tricky. She goes, just so you know, this is tricky to get it done. She's like, so I give you this PIN number, and you have to use that PIN number, but then it's going to ask you for another PIN number, but that PIN number is hidden on a link on this other page, and you have to click on that link and then go there, and then it's going to be hiding underneath this little spiel sentence. And I was like, why are you trying to hide it so people can't do this?
We're going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
and then
there's a treasure map on the back,
right? And then
you got better luck doing that.
Yeah, and then if you don't get it done within like 24 hours, then it doesn't go through. And you have to do the whole process over again.
Oh man!
how about just be cool? GM Financial.
You could be cool.
I already bought the car from you because it's GM.
Yeah.
You also have the loan because you're GM.
Yeah.
Can we just figure out some way that you can help people out just a little bit? Because a lot of loan places are helping people out.
That's the crazy part
time.
about it. Like, a lot of places are like, okay, how about you fuck off? Be like these other people who are like trying to find the good, like giving people a chance because they know what the fuck is going on and everyone's unemployed. And you have someone who's telling you what the fuck is going on and how they're unemployed. And you're just like, well, we don't really have anything in place for that besides a treasure hunt, and you probably won't achieve it. So, are you going to pay us?
So just pay us out of your unemployment.
Yeah.
What? I couldn't believe when he said it. It took all I had to not start yelling at this man.
Like, listen up, motherfucker.
It's just so wild.
So yeah, well, I guess we could wrap it up on a big fuck you to GM Financial.
That's what we're doing. We're wrapping it up on a big fuck you to GM Financial.
Yeah, suck a dick.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we're out.
We're out.